Chapter 783, The Popular Meeting Hall, 2, Oh, tell him when the freak returns. I'm going back to my room. Leng Ruoxue returned to her room after speaking. The freak returned not long after she returned to her room. Where did you go? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. I'm going to prepare a gift for the 10th elder, the freak confessed. What gift? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking. Hee hee. The freak smiled evilly and then whispered something in Leng Ruoxue's ear. You're too evil, but I like it, Leng Ruoxue praised. Humph. How can I let him go if he dares to bully my woman, the freak said resentfully, the killing intent in his eyes flashing for a moment. Freak, I won't let him die too easily, Leng Ruoxue said. Well. Who knew who the Leng family would be lured out by beating up the 10th elder this time? She was really looking forward to it. Yes. The freak nodded. On the other side, 3rd elder had already returned to the Leng family's main residence with the 10th elder. 3rd elder, what are they carrying? Why is it so stinky? They happened to meet the 5th elder who had just returned after entering the Leng family's main residence. Oh. It's the 10th elder, 3rd elder said speechlessly. He didn't know whose beast it was, but it actually got a pile of feces and collapsed on the 10th elder, so the 10th elder became like this stinky appearance. Alas! It was really too pitiful. He felt some pity for the 10th elder now even though their relationship was not good. No way. Did you make a mistake? The 5th elder covered his nose and said in disbelief. At the same time, he was a little puzzled. Why was the 10th elder carried back? What happened? He was so curious. I saw it with my own eyes. How can I be mistaken? That is indeed the 10th elder. 3rd elder promised. But what happened to the 10th elder? The 5th elder's face was full of gossip as he probed reluctantly. Beaten up, 3rd elder gloated. Ah. No way. Who's so powerful? How dare they beat up an elder of the Leng family in our proud cold city, the 5th elder said abnormally excitedly. Leng Ruoxue and her subordinates, 3rd elder whispered. Oh. The younger generation will surpass us in time. However, they will probably be in trouble if they dare to attack in proud cold city, the 5th elder said with a sigh. Then he was a little worried, but he was more excited because Leng Ruoxue and the others had done what he had always wanted to do but hadn't done. It's hard to say. I'll go see the patriarch. 5th elder, help me gather the elders, 3rd elder said to 5th elder. Then he ordered the guards carrying the 10th elder behind him, go and do whatever you need to do after sending the 10th elder back to his residence. Yes, the guards answered and then carried the stinky 10th elder to his residence. In the meeting hall. The huge living room was soon full of elders and offerings as the elders arrived one by one. 3rd elder, tell me what happened. Leng Yimin said speechlessly when he saw that everyone was here. Alas. He really didn't expect this to happen. This made him a little at a loss for what to do. Okay. 3rd elder nodded. Then he stood up and embellished the story of the 10th elder being beaten up. Anyway, according to him, what he said implied that the 10th elder handled the matter improperly, so the other party couldn't take it anymore and beat him up. After hearing what the 3rd elder said, Leng Yimin, the elders, and the guardians didn't say anything for a while, and the atmosphere instantly became depressed. Why aren't you talking anymore? 3rd elder said knowingly to the advisor. He couldn't deny that he was a little dumbfounded at that time. However, he had to pretend to be mute if he didn't speak. Patriarch, this Leng Ruoxue is really too much. She actually dared to beat up an elder of the Leng family. We have to punish her severely. Otherwise, how can we convince the public in the future? A consecrator who had a good relationship with the 10th elder was the first to speak. Patriarch, this matter was indeed handled improperly by the 10th elder. As an elder of the Leng family who was virtuous and respected, how can you look up to the Leng family from the lower realm? His behavior is so disappointing. Oh. Oh right, I think everyone must want to know who the improper Leng family the 10th elder mentioned is, right? The 5th elder said softly. 5th elder, how can the 10th elder say such things? It's up to you not to listen to the wind, an old man said again. Does 11th elder mean that I'm framing the 10th elder? Why don't we invite the 10th elder and Leng Ruoxue to confront each other? Familiar or not, I believe everyone's eyes are clear, 3rd elder said calmly. 3rd elder, you're mistaken. I didn't say that you framed the 10th elder, the 11th elder said hurriedly. But that's what you mean. 3rd elder said stubbornly. Stop arguing. I called you here to discuss something, not to let you bicker, Leng Yimin said uncontrollably. Many of these elders were of higher seniority than him, so it was really difficult to manage. The elders tactfully shut their mouths after hearing Leng Yimin's words. Grand Elder, what do you think we should do about this? Leng Yimin turned to the young man beside him. You are the patriarch. You can decide what to do, the Grand Elder said irresponsibly. Then he drank his tea and ignored Leng Yimin. Leng Yimin was depressed. What could he do? Would he still be worried if he knew? Alas! If he had known earlier, he shouldn't have sent the 10th elder to arrange for Leng Ruoxue and the others. That old man kept causing trouble for him. He was really incompetent. Patriarch, you have to uphold justice for my father. A sobbing woman's voice drifted in just as Leng Yimin was feeling abnormally depressed. Immediately after, a white-clothed woman stumbled into the meeting hall. What are you doing here? Hurry up and go back. Leng Yimin's head immediately hurt when he saw this teary and weak woman. Patriarch, you have to seek justice for my father. Otherwise, I'll kill myself in this meeting hall, the white-clothed woman threatened with tears in her beautiful eyes. Chapter 784, The Popular Meeting Hall, 3, How dare you? This isn't a place where you can behave atrociously. Hurry up and scram back to your residence. Leng Yimin roared furiously, the veins on his forehead bulging. Father, Leng Ruoxue humiliated Grandpa like this. You absolutely can't let her go. At this moment, 2 more people barged in, and one of them was Leng Rume. What are you doing here? Get back to your rooms. Leng Yimin roared with widened eyes. He was so angry. These 3 troublesome things. Didn't they see that the Grand Elder was here too? No one could protect them if they angered the Grand Elder. Unfortunately, not only did the mother and children not appreciate his efforts, they even pressed on step by step. Father, Leng Ruoxue is just a bumpkin who hasn't seen the world. I'm willing to let her be my maidservant, but not only does she not know gratitude, she actually injured Grandpa. How unforgivable. Moreover, according to our clan rules, offending your superiors is a capital offense, so please give the order to punish Leng Ruoxue. Leng Rume directly used the clan rules to pressure others. Humph. She didn't believe Leng Ruoxue would survive this time. Shut up. You have no say in this matter, Leng Yimin rebuked resentfully. Humph. This daughter was becoming more and more out of hand. Didn't she take a look at where she was? She kept complaining here. Did she think those elders were dead? Father. Could it be that you're afraid of Leng Ruoxue? Leng Rume was a little angry that her father refused to give the order. How dare you? Leng Yimin roared as he slammed the table. Father, we won't live if you don't punish Leng Ruoxue, Leng Rume threatened. She really didn't expect her father, who had always loved her, to shout at her for an outsider. How could she bear this? One, vile being, how dare you threaten me? Leng Yimin's face darkened with anger. Patriarch, I know. It was my fault back then. I shouldn't have given birth to the 2 of them. The existence of the 3 of us has always been in the eyes of someone, so it'll bring the 2 of them to die here today. It'll be over, the white-clothed woman said aggrievedly with tears in her eyes. Leng Wanqiu, are you talking about me? Leng Shuang's voice sounded before Leng Yimin could say anything. Madam, why are you here? Leng Yimin hurriedly stood up and welcomed Leng Shuang after seeing her. After seeing Leng Shuang, the other elders and guardians stood up and bowed to her in addition to the elders with higher seniority. Elders, there's no need to stand on ceremony. I just heard that the meeting hall today is quite lively, so I came to join in the fun. Leng Shuang's beautiful face had a perfect smile as she said. Then she sat down in the empty seat on the other side of Leng Yimin. Leng Wanqiu, you haven't answered me yet. Leng Shuang continued to remind her after sitting down. Mistress, you are virtuous and respected in the clan. How can I dare to criticize you? Leng Wanqiu said with a very pale face. Her soft and watery eyes kept floating to Leng Yimin, hoping to obtain his protection. Unfortunately, he didn't even look at her, which made her feel very disappointed. Oh. I heard you say that you want to end everything here. Leng Shuang raised her eyes and asked lightly. I just hope that the patriarch can uphold justice for this servant's old father. He has been humiliated like this. If the Leng family doesn't punish Leng Ruoxue, where will our Leng family's face go? Bai Wanqiu said righteously. So you don't really want to die? Leng Shuang's beautiful face was full of regret. Leng Wanqiu looked at the high and mighty Leng Shuang and couldn't help but burn with jealousy. However, she really didn't dare to contradict Leng Shuang in front of so many elders. Otherwise, she would be the unlucky one. Alright, don't call yourself a servant in front of me as if I'm bullying you. Moreover, I'm not a man, so save your pitiful appearance. Leng Shuang didn't hide her disgust. Mistress. Leng Wanqiu wanted to explain with tears in her eyes, but Leng Shuang interrupted her. Leng Wanqiu, you're really becoming more and more gutsy. You even dare to threaten the patriarch and the elders. However, what I want to tell you is that if you really want to die, just bring your child and die. Don't just say nothing. Leng Shuang said with a spurious smile. With her words, even the elders and guardians who were on better terms with the 10th elder did not dare to speak up for Leng Wanqiu. As for Leng Yimin, he directly turned his head to the pillar beside him and counted the dragon scales on it. Mistress, this servant doesn't dare, Leng Wanqiu said softly, tears falling from her eyes like pearls with a broken string. Even if you are the mistress of the family, you can't bully my mother like this. She is my father's woman after all. How can you treat her like this? Leng Rume accused furiously, her heart full of hatred. One day, she must vent this anger for herself and for her mother. At that time, she would definitely return Leng Shuang's humiliation on the three of them by several times. She swore in her heart. Patriarch, is this the daughter you've always doted on? How uneducated. Leng Shuang ignored Leng Rume and said to Leng Yimin disdainfully. Rume, quickly apologize to the matriarch. Leng Yimin roared shamelessly. Alas! This trivial matter in his family. When would it end? He was so annoyed. I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I admit it? Leng Rume said indignantly. Patriarch, since Miss Leng Rume is unwilling to admit her mistake, don't force her. I can't bear it either, Leng Shuang said very coldly. Madam. Leng Yimin pleaded. Boo-hoo. He knew that Madam was angry from her tone. Patriarch, I came to inform you of a matter. Leng Ruoxue and I hit it off at first sight, so I recognized her as my sister. Moreover, I've already sent someone to invite her to my house as a guest. Well. They should be here soon. I'll excuse myself. Leng Shuang left the meeting hall coolly after speaking. Everyone was stunned for a moment when they heard Leng Shuang's words. After they returned to their senses, they realized that the matter seemed to be becoming more and more complicated. Alas! The patriarch's wife was also involved, which made them very conflicted. Chapter 785, The Popular Meeting Hall, 4. Going against Leng Ruoxue would offend Leng Shuang, and offending Leng Shuang was equivalent to offending Leng Jingmu. However, if they let Leng Ruoxue go, the elders were afraid that they would be unable to explain it to the elders of the 10th Elders branch, so they were really in a difficult situation. Everyone, disperse. Let's discuss this matter again. Leng Yimin sighed helplessly. Leng Yimin's words were like a pardon. Everyone present immediately scattered when they heard it. Leng Wanqiu also left with her children, seeing that she couldn't achieve her goal today. In the Frost Garden, Leng Shuang was entertaining Leng Ruoxue and the others warmly. Sister, what happened today? Tell me quickly. Leng Shuang asked with a face full of gossip. Hee hee. She was really curious about Leng Ruoxue's heroic deed today. However, she only heard a little, so she wanted to hear it from the person involved. Nothing. I just beat up an old man. However, I didn't beat him to death and even left him alive, Leng Ruoxue explained simply. Sister, I'm afraid it will be a little troublesome if you beat up that old thing. However, I'll definitely not let anyone bully you with me around. Don't worry. Leng Shuang promised very confidently. Big sister, I'm not afraid of trouble. Bring it on if anyone wants to stand up for that old thing. Moreover, I can guarantee that the unlucky ones will definitely be others. Leng Ruoxue smiled nonchalantly. She had already given the Leng family face. Don't blame her if anyone foolishly provoked her again. Little sister, big sister can still have some say in the Leng family. If anyone annoys you, you should attack. There's no need to worry too much. Big sister will think of a way to help you settle anything, Leng Shuang promised. Thank you, big sister. Leng Ruoxue smiled. We hit it off at first sight. There's no need to be so polite with big sister. By the way, little sister, I've arranged a residence for you. Stay in the Leng family for a few days. The scenery in our Leng family's main residence isn't inferior to the plum garden. Leng Shuang said with a smile. Big sister, I'm afraid we will cause trouble for you if we stay here, so, Leng Ruoxue deliberately said half of what she wanted to say because she believed Leng Shuang would understand what she meant. What are you afraid of? I want to see which ignorant person dares to provoke my sister. Leng Shuang's beautiful face was full of ruthlessness. If big sister isn't afraid, I'm even less afraid. Leng Ruoxue smiled like a little fox. Then I'll stay here. I'll leave when I'm done, Leng Shuang took the opportunity to say. Well. She definitely wouldn't be lonely if Leng Ruoxue stayed in the Leng family's main mansion. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Sister, big sister arranged for you to stay in the snowfall garden. There are enough rooms there, which is just right for you to stay, Leng Shuang said. Thank you, big sister, Leng Ruoxue said politely. What trouble? Big sister will bring you there now. Rest early today and big sister will welcome you tomorrow. Leng Shuang said and stood up. Then she brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to the Leng family's best VIP yard, Snowfall Garden. Snowfall Garden was the best guest yard in the Leng family's main residence. There were nearly 100 rooms inside, and the scenery was beautiful, the environment was elegant, and the air was fresh. Leng Shuang brought Leng Ruoxue and the others directly into the fallen snow garden when they arrived. At this moment, there was not a single servant inside except for 2 guards outside the garden. Sister, big sister didn't arrange servants for you, so I'll arrange everything here for you, Leng Shuang reminded. She knew that Leng Ruoxue had many subordinates, and she definitely didn't like to be served by the Leng family servants, so there was no need to do anything unnecessary. Big sister, I'm afraid staying here will make things difficult for you. Leng Ruoxue looked up at the scenery and pavilions in the yard. The decorations here were very exquisite, absolutely top-notch. No, I'm the mistress of the household. I can decide on such a small matter. Don't worry, Leng Shuang said nonchalantly. Then I won't refuse. Leng Ruoxue didn't stand on ceremony. She wouldn't stay here for long anyway. Sister, rest. Big sister is leaving, Leng Shuang said and left the snowfall garden. After Leng Shuang left, Leng Ruoxue motioned for Feng De and the others to find their own rooms to rest. Then she and the freak casually found a room to stay in. Leng Shuang left the Snowfall Garden and went to see her father-in-law first. She reported her arrangements to him and then returned to the Frost Garden. She saw Leng Yimin sitting at the round table, drinking tea and eating snacks as soon as she returned to her room. He seemed to be waiting for her. "Madam, where did you go?" Leng Yimin stood up ingratiatingly and asked with concern after seeing Leng Shuang. Alas! None of the maidservants here were willing to give him a good face. Boo-hoo! He really didn't have any dignity as the patriarch. "Arrange a residence for my sister," Leng Shuang replied indifferently. "Oh! Where did you arrange for them?" Leng Yimin asked curiously. "Snowfall Garden," Leng Shuang said lightly. "Madam, how can they stay in the Snowfall Garden?" Leng Yimin's face was full of disapproval. People were staying there in a few days, so Leng Ruoxue and the others couldn't stay there. "Why can't they stay there?" Leng Shuang raised her eyebrows and asked coldly. "You know that the other two super families will send people to our Leng family in a few days," Leng Yimin reminded. "So what?" Leng Shuang was puzzled. "The rooms in the Snowfall Garden will be arranged for them to stay." Leng Yimin had to be more straightforward. "Let's not talk about them not being here yet. Even if they are, we can let them stay in other courtyards. The Snowfall Garden is spacious and big enough. Sister and the others have more people, so they can't stay anywhere else," Leng Shuang said indifferently, obviously not taking Leng Yimin's words seriously. "Madam, the Lan family and the Sun family used to live in the Snowfall Garden in the past." Leng Yimin sighed and reminded helplessly. "You said it's the previous years. Let them stay in other courtyards this year." Leng Shuang was very disapproving. Humph. They were just some juniors. Why was there a need to be so particular about their residence? She had always disagreed with juniors enjoying themselves too much, so she reduced the allowance of those children since she became the head of the family. Of course, it aroused the dissatisfaction of some people in the beginning. However, under her iron fist's management, the dissatisfaction slowly disappeared. Chapter 786, The Depressed Leng Father and Son, 1, Madam. Leng Yimin still wanted to fight for it, but seeing Leng Shuang's persistent face, he had to change the topic. "Why didn't you discuss with me beforehand that you recognized Leng Ruoxue as your sister?" Leng Shuang's arbitrary decision made him very passive. "Patriarch, you didn't discuss it with me beforehand even though you created two children." Leng Shuang smiled with her red lips. "Ah. Madam, you know that was an accident." Leng Yimin was very embarrassed. Boo-hoo. It had been so many years. How could Madam not forget this? "Patriarch, the process isn't important. What's important is the result," Leng Shuang reminded unpleasantly with a cold face. "I'm tired and want to rest," Leng Shuang said again. Then she took off her clothes and lay on the bed, ignoring Leng Yimin. Leng Yimin was a little embarrassed. He sat alone by the table and listened to the even breathing of the cold frost on the bed. He sighed helplessly. Alas! A single misstep would lead to eternal regret. Boo-hoo! After wallowing in self-pity for a while, he took out his blanket from the cabinet and spread it on the ground. He lay down after making the bed. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue and the others welcomed 3 uninvited guests just after breakfast. Leng Ruoxue. Who allowed you to stay here? Get lost. Leng Rume roared without caring about her image as soon as she saw Leng Ruoxue and the others in the yard of the falling snow garden. Miss Leng, if you want to chase us out, wait until you become the mistress of the family. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Then she sat down on a stone bench in the yard, and Lu Tao hurriedly arranged tea and snacks in front of her young miss. You. Leng Ruoxue, you injured my grandfather. The Leng family will never let you go, Leng Rume said fiercely and promised in her heart that the day would come when she would become the mistress of the family. At that time, she swore to step on these annoying people. Didn't I deliver myself to your door? Do whatever the Leng family wants, Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile. Miss Leng, my father is already so old. How can a junior like you attack a senior? This is disrespectful and unfilial. My father is also an elder of the clan. You are also offending your superiors like this. This is a serious crime in the Leng family. However, if you are willing to admit your mistake, I will plead with the elders and the patriarch. I hope they will sentence you lightly on the account that you are young and don't know the rules, Leng Wanqiu said very understandingly. Elder? Whose elder is the 10th elder? Being disrespectful, unfilial, and offending your superiors in the Leng family is a serious crime. What does it have to do with me? I didn't admit that I'm from the Leng family. Leng Ruoxue smiled lightly and looked at the weak and cute woman in front of her as if she was watching a joke. She only knew from Leng Shuang yesterday that Leng Rume was the 10th elder's granddaughter. Well, no wonder they were so annoying. They were a family after all this fuss. You actually don't think you're from the Leng family. You're too arrogant. Leng Wanqi's slightly pale face was full of pain. In fact, she was so happy when she heard Leng Ruoxue say this. Since he wasn't from the Leng family, did the elder who beat the Leng family want to walk out of Ayahan City alive? No way. Leng Ruoxue, get out of the Leng family quickly since you don't admit that you are from the Leng family. Why are you still staying here? Leng Rume provoked with a face full of contempt. Because I'm a guest of the Leng family. Can't you see that I live in the guest yard? Leng Ruoxue reminded kindly. Hee. Leng Rume was quite bold. Not only did she chase away the guests of the Leng family's young master, but she also chased away the guests of the patriarch's wife now. Well, her courage was commendable, and she had to admire her. Leng Ruoxue, you are just a bumpkin. The Snowfall Garden is not a place for you to stay. Get out of here quickly. Leng Rume roared furiously. Her lungs were about to explode from anger when she knew that Leng Ruoxue and the others were staying in the Snowfall Garden, so she dragged her mother and brother here to denounce them early in the morning. Leng Rume, you're indeed the eldest daughter of the Leng family. How dare you chase away my guests? Leng Shuang's voice suddenly sounded from behind Leng Rume and her son. Mistress. Why are you here? Leng Rume was shocked and hurriedly smiled. You can come, but I can't. Leng Shuang asked with a fake smile. Mistress, that's not what I mean, Leng Rume explained. She hated Leng Shuang to death, but she also knew that she couldn't beat Leng Shuang now, so she could only bear with it. Leng Rume, stay in your yard obediently if you don't want to be locked up. My guests don't need you to order them around, understand? Leng Shuang reminded. Yes, Rume understands, Leng Rume replied softly while suppressing her anger. Why are you still standing here if you understand? Leng Shuang questioned with slight displeasure. Mistress, Rume will take her leave. Leng Rume bowed to Leng Shuang and left the Snowfall Garden with her mother and brother. Big sister, why are you here so early? Leng Ruoxue asked softly after Leng Rume left. I heard from the guards that Leng Rume came to the Snowfall Garden. I was worried, so I came to take a look, Leng Shuang said honestly. Are you afraid that I will suffer a loss? Leng Ruoxue teased. Yes. However, I also know that it's impossible for you to suffer a loss. By the way, I received news that Leng Wanqiu has already gone to find her bloodline's great-grandfather to uphold justice, so you have to be careful. That old man's seniority in the Leng family is very high. These elders of the Leng family will probably give him some face more or less now, Leng Wanqiu reminded worriedly. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Well. It seemed like it was also beneficial to have an elder in the family. The younger ones would immediately jump out to seek justice for their descendants after they were beaten up. Sister, I want to accompany you for now. I'll send someone to invite you when the welcome banquet is ready. Leng Shuang turned and left the Snowfall Garden after speaking. At this moment, two young men were sitting opposite each other in a room in the restricted area behind the Leng family's back mountain. One of the men was the grand elder of the Leng family, and the other was emitting cold air. His appearance and temperament were both cold. Chapter 787, The Depressed Leng Father and Son, 2, Qianyi, what do you think we should do about this? The cold man asked the grand elder sitting opposite him softly. Grandpa, I shouldn't be the one you're asking about this. You should ask eldest grandpa. After all, most of the Leng family members are his descendants now, Leng Qianye said with an irresponsible face. Hee. Leng Ruoxue was not easy to bully according to his secret observation these few days. Well, as expected of his descendant. He even beat up the current elder of the Leng family. Well beaten. Stinky brat, I'm asking you now. Don't divert the topic, the cold man said without being affected at all. I don't know. I only know that Leng Wanqiu has already found an elder of her line. Alas. What a pity. Our little Shuer doesn't have an elder to back her up. How pitiful. Leng Qianye's tone was full of pity, but his face didn't have the slightest trace of regret. Grandpa, you improper Leng family left us bastards from the Ling Feng continent, and now you're so irresponsible as to watch your few descendants being bullied. Aren't you embarrassed? Leng Qianye continued, his handsome face full of disapproval. You stinky brat, how dare you lie to me? Humph. Think about it. They need the support of their elders everywhere. When can they be independent? I'm doing this for their own good, the cold man said calmly. Grandpa, don't blame me for not reminding you. There are only 5 of your descendants including Leng Ruoxue's grandfather, and granddaughter. If you don't do anything, I won't acknowledge you when the time comes. Don't cry. After all, that little fellow is already so independent that he can't be independent anymore. He doesn't have to rely on us to support him at all. He can also obtain a place in the boundless heaven continent. Therefore, you have to perform as soon as possible. If you're late, you can probably only become a stranger with a bloodline relationship, Leng Qianye reminded. Well. His words were not exaggerating. Moreover, he was very clear that Leng Ruoxue and the other little fellows had no intention of returning to the family at all. I know what to do. You don't have to worry unnecessarily, the cold man roared angrily. Boo-hoo. It wasn't that he wanted to be a coward. Wasn't he a little nervous? After all, he really didn't know how to interact with juniors after so many generations. Ha! Grandpa, I won't worry then. I'll go back and continue watching the commotion. Ah! I want to see how little Shuer and the other little fellows can cause a commotion in the Leng family. By the way, tell eldest grandpa not to feel bad. It's time to clean up the trash in the family, Leng Qianye said with a smile. Then he stood up and left the room. In the evening, Leng Wudi came to fetch Leng Ruoxue and the others for the banquet. The welcome banquet was arranged in the Leng family's largest banquet hall. The golden hall was already full of the Leng family when Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived. Leng Shuang welcomed them after seeing them. Sister, this way please. Leng Shuang arranged for Leng Ruoxue's grandfather, granddaughter, the freak, empty, and the little old man to sit at the main table. As for Leng Ruoxue's subordinates, she arranged for them to sit with the others from the Leng family. Mistress, may I ask what right do they have to sit on the chair? They are only from the Leng family that came from the lower realm and have not contributed to the family. If we arrange for them to sit at the main table, us Leng family members who have worked hard for the family will not be convinced. The Leng family began to make things difficult for Leng Ruoxue and the others before they sat down. The person who spoke was a middle-aged man with a very valiant appearance. He was tall and burly, and there was a gust of wind on him. He must have just returned from outside. Leng Xiong, do you have any objections to my arrangement? Leng Shuang asked angrily with a stern face. I don't dare to. I just want to know why they can sit there, Leng Xiong said very respectfully. He had just returned to the Leng family and heard some rumors. He also heard that the 10th elder had been injured, and the person who injured the 10th elder at this moment had actually become a guest of the Leng family. In his heart, the family's honor was above everything, so he couldn't help asking bluntly. After all, such an arrangement by the mistress would make many Leng family uncomfortable, but others might not have the guts to ask. They are my sister and her family. Is this reason enough? Leng Shuang said with a spurious smile. Mistress, they were the ones who injured the 10th elder, right? Leng Xiong continued asking. His question immediately attracted the attention of many members of the Leng family because everyone only dared to discuss this in private. No one dared to say it in person because she had the backing of the mistress of the family. Even the elders of the family kept silent about this matter, let alone them. So what if I am? Leng Shuang said nonchalantly. She would have beaten that old man up if she wasn't the mistress of the family. Therefore, Leng Ruoxue and the others' behavior had won her heart. Since they are from the Leng family and injured an elder, shouldn't they be punished? Mistress, we all respect you very much, but you can't shield the guilty like this. Leng Xiong said righteously. His words also resonated with some of the Leng family present. Immediately, many people began to discuss spiritedly. Leng Rume, who was sitting in the corner, couldn't help smiling proudly when she saw this scene. She was really too satisfied with Leng Xiong's performance. She really wouldn't have been able to use him if Leng Xiong wasn't so righteous. Moreover, Leng Xiong was very prestigious among the middle-class clansmen of the Leng family, so her move was really right. Leng Xiong, you just returned to the family and don't understand certain situations. Don't listen to the wind and rain, Leng Shuang reminded. In fact, she had a good impression of Leng Xiong. He was an upright clansman. However, it was precisely because he was a little stubborn that he was easy to be instigated and used. The scene today was obviously directed by someone beforehand. She knew who that person was without needing to ask. They were just a group of clowns. She would not have ignored them if she didn't know that those people would not amount to much. However, ignoring them was one thing. Did those people really think that they did not dare to attack them? Leng Shuang smiled faintly, the cold aura on her body becoming stronger and stronger. Mistress. Leng Xiong also knew that it was inappropriate to question her in such an occasion. However, he really couldn't bear to watch. However, from what Mistress said, could there be something else going on? However, he had not only heard one clansman say this, many people were discussing it in private. Therefore, his character made him the first to speak. Chapter 788, The Depressed Leng Father and Son, 3, Leng Xiong, today is the welcome banquet I'm holding for my sister. I asked you to participate because I hope you can get to know each other so that unnecessary misunderstandings won't happen in the future. Therefore, if you have any doubts, tell me after the banquet ends. Now, shut up. Leng Shuang reminded. Yes. Leng Xiong was not stupid. He knew that he had gone too far, so he hurriedly returned to his seat. Sister, I'm sorry to have embarrassed you. Leng Shuang turned her head and said to Leng Ruoxue apologetically. It's okay. Justice is in the hearts of people. I believe that the Leng family isn't all stupid. I beat up the 10th elder because that old thing deserves to be beaten up. A cold voice emerged gently from Leng Ruoxue's pink lips. The voice was not loud, but everyone present heard it clearly. Moreover, for some reason, the Leng family felt even more stressed after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. Ha, what a good one. Lass, you're really arrogant. As expected of our Leng family. Leng Jingmu laughed and walked out of the hall to the table where Leng Ruoxue was. He happened to hear Leng Ruoxue's words when he entered and couldn't help but interrupt. Everyone in the Leng family fell silent after seeing Leng Jingmu. Sister, he is my father-in-law, the former patriarch of the Leng family, Leng Shuang reminded softly. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then she looked up at the middle-aged man in his early 50s and said calmly, Old man, you're mistaken. I'm not from the Leng family. Ah. You're from the Ling Feng continent, how can you not be from the Leng family? Leng Jingmu's eyes widened in disbelief, and he couldn't help muttering in his heart, this girl is holding a grudge. She actually doesn't admit that she's from the Leng family. This won't do. Such an outstanding descendant can't be left outside. If that's the case, the Grand Elder probably won't let them go. Everyone from the Ling Feng continent has to come to the Leng family as servants. I'm used to being free and slow, so I can't do the work of others, so leave the Leng family's thigh to others. I won't participate. Anyway, the Leng family doesn't lack the three of us. Moreover, I can tell you very clearly that there's no one else in the Leng family on the Ling Feng continent other than the three of us. Therefore, you have to nurture the Leng family's servants yourselves in the future. Ah. There's no longer any supply on the Ling Feng continent, Leng Ruoxue said very seriously. Leng Jingmu couldn't help breaking out in cold sweat at Leng Ruoxue's words. He was so aggrieved. Boo-hoo. He didn't ask the 10th elder to say this, so why did it have to be on him? Moreover, he knew that the old ancestor and the Grand Elder already knew this. However, not reacting now didn't mean that they wouldn't settle the score later. Therefore, someone would definitely pay the price for this. Boo-hoo. Hopefully, he wouldn't be implicated. Lass, this is all a misunderstanding. The Leng family won't let you be servants, Leng Jingmu promised. Boo-hoo. As long as this girl was willing to return to the family, it was fine even if he had to worship them. Who dared to let them serve others? One had to know that there were only a few people in that line, and Leng Ruoxue and the others definitely had a much stronger background than them. After all, he still knew the principle that rare things were precious. Doesn't the 10th elder's words represent the Leng family? Don't tell me he's spouting nonsense. I'll be very disappointed if that's the case. Leng Ruoxue smiled nonchalantly. Lass, do you believe me or the 10th elder? Leng Jingmu asked instead of answering. Well, this girl was so smart, she would definitely understand what he meant. He was very confident about this, but he guessed wrong this time because Leng Ruoxue had never played according to the rules. Me? Of course I believe the 10th elder. Leng Ruoxue deliberately paused and then said with a smile. Ah. Leng Jingmu was stunned, thinking that he had heard it wrong. Then he asked again for confirmation, what did you say? I said. I believe the 10th elder's words, Leng Ruoxue said very clearly to prevent this old man from pretending not to hear her. Why? Lass, have you forgotten my identity? Leng Jingmu couldn't help reminding her. I didn't forget. You are the former patriarch of the Leng family, Leng Ruoxue said very clearly and deliberately emphasized the first word. Then why do you believe the 10th elder and not me? Leng Jingmu said gloomily. Boo-hoo. This girl was too difficult to deal with. Isn't it obvious? You are the former patriarch while the 10th elder is the current elder. Who do you think I should believe? Leng Ruoxue asked in return. Lass, I might not be the patriarch now, but I still have a high status in the Leng family. They have to listen to me as long as I say it, Leng Jingmu reminded her. What he implied was that he was just a decoration. Old man, I'm a good child and don't like to spout nonsense, so I have to remind you that it's better to manage it on the spot than to be an official. The current patriarch of the Leng family is your son. Even though those elders will also listen to your orders, it's unavoidable to obey openly but disobey in secret. As for your son, the current patriarch of the Leng family. He's still too young. I'm afraid he can't completely control those slippery elders. Leng Ruoxue looked at the uncomfortable man beside Leng Jingmu and said understandingly. Ah. Leng Jingmu and Leng Yimin were even more depressed when Leng Ruoxue said this because they knew very well that what Leng Ruoxue was talking about was the current situation of the Leng family. This was also a situation that most of the new and old power alternations would happen. As for the elders present, they couldn't help shrinking their necks when they heard Leng Ruoxue's words, trying to reduce their presence lest they accidentally became cannon fodder. At the same time, they were muttering in their hearts, I didn't disrespect the patriarch. What an arrogant little girl. According to you, all of us old ancestors are just decorations. Suddenly, a slightly gloomy voice interrupted, and its tone was obviously displeased. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help looking up at the source of the voice when she heard this. She saw a middle-aged man standing at the door of the hall. The man was very tall and thin, but his temperament gave people a slightly dark feeling. His strength was mystic supremacy. Well, could this person be the old ancestor Leng Wanqiu found? She guessed. Chapter 789, Grand Elder, I don't have money. 1. What? Are you mute? Weren't you pretty sharp-tongued just now? The middle-aged man couldn't help mocking Leng Ruoxue when she didn't say anything for a while. Isn't that so? Let's take you as an example. Perhaps your seniority is higher than the person sitting here, but what about your strength? Many people here are about the same strength as you, right? If I remember correctly, this world seems to speak of strength. It's useless if you don't have extraordinary strength and only want to use seniority to pressure others. There will probably be more people who obey but disobey in secret. Of course, if you have the aura of an outstanding bastard, I believe no one will dare to disobey you. However, do you have it? Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Humph. Did she really think she would be afraid just because she found an old aunt? It was just a mystic supremacy. She and the freak could deal with him without anyone needing to do anything. Everyone present, including Leng Jingmu, couldn't help taking a deep breath after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words because none of them expected this young girl to be so bold. One had to know that the middle-aged man who spoke just now had a very high seniority in the clan, so even though that person's character was not good, Leng Ruoxue was absolutely the first person among the younger generation to dare to speak to him like this. And with that person's character of taking revenge for flaws, Leng Ruoxue was probably going to be unlucky. Immediately, everyone looked at Leng Ruoxue with pity, and something indescribable. Okay. Lass, I hope you can always be so bold. Humph. The middle-aged man suppressed the anger in his heart and then looked at Leng Jingmu with an unfriendly gaze. Uncle, why are you here? Leng Jingmu braced himself. He had always hated this uncle, but he didn't want to provoke him. After all, one shouldn't offend a hypocrite even if they wanted to offend a real despicable person. His uncle was a hypocrite, so he had always avoided him if possible and never went head-on with him. Humph. Of course you want me to never appear. If I didn't come, who knows when our Leng family would have such an unfilial descendant, the middle-aged man said coldly, the light in his eyes shooting at Leng Ruoxue like a sharp sword. Leng Ruoxue sat down directly as if she didn't see it. The middle-aged man's gaze became even more obscure when she sat down. Uncle, why bother with me? Leng Jingmu advised helplessly, large drops of sweat flowing down his forehead. Jingmu, let me ask you, what crime is it to disrespect your elders in the Leng family? The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes and asked lightly. Leng Jingmu was in a dilemma. He knew that his uncle wanted to use his seniority to suppress Leng Ruoxue, but he was helpless because there was indeed such a rule in the Leng family's rules. Rume, tell me. The middle-aged man turned his gaze to Leng Rume in the corner. In response to Old Ancestor, those who are disrespectful to their elders will be exiled or expelled from the clan, Leng Rume said proudly. Humph. She knew that getting the Old Ancestor to settle Leng Ruoxue was a trivial matter. Her so-called expulsion naturally referred to death. Did you hear that? Yimin, do you need me to teach you what to do? The middle-aged man's venomous gaze landed on the current patriarch, Leng Yimin. Leng Yimin looked at his father, conflicted. Ha! Old man, I think you're mistaken. I'm not from the Leng family, so your family rules are useless to me, Leng Ruoxue said with some amusement. Alas! What kind of people were these? How could they be so self-righteous? However, she finally gained knowledge today. How dare you disown your ancestors as a member of the Leng family? Guards, arrest this unfilial junior and await your punishment. After the middle-aged man roared, many guards ran in, and the guards who entered were naturally his guards. Uncle, I'm afraid that's not appropriate. Leng Jingmu reminded with a frown. What's wrong with that? It will probably be difficult to explain to the people in the clan if we don't deal with Leng Ruoxue today, the middle-aged man said resolutely. Old man, what reason do you want to deal with me? Leng Ruoxue asked with a light smile. Well, this welcome banquet was really lively. She was very satisfied. Isn't it enough that you disobey your elders and don't respect them? The middle-aged man said. Of course not. Seems like you're really old. You forgot what I said so quickly. I told you, I'm not from the Leng family. Leng Ruoxue reminded with a smile. It's a capital crime not to admit that you are a member of the Leng family, the middle-aged man said fiercely. What? Only the Leng family can deny us, but we can't deny the Leng family? What kind of logic is that? Leng Ruoxue asked with a smile. By the way, do you want to add the crime of me hitting the 10th elder? Leng Ruoxue reminded again. That's right. You also injured an elder of the Dagao Wang family, so you will be punished with several crimes, the middle-aged man said with a nod. Leng Xing. You're really becoming more and more promising. You even bullied a little girl. At this moment, another voice sounded in everyone's ears. Everyone's jaws almost fell to the ground when they saw this. Ah! What day was it today? Why did it alarm the Grand Elder who never participated in any banquet? This fellow was of a higher generation and was more difficult to deal with than the previous one. Leng Qianye, what are you doing here? The middle-aged man named Leng Xing had a headache when he saw the Grand Elder. Leng Xing, how dare you call me by my name? Guards! Arrest this disrespectful fellow and await punishment. Leng Qianye also shouted out of the hall in the same way, and then more guards ran in than before. Leng Qianye, how dare you? Leng Xing roared furiously. How dare you? Why wouldn't I dare? Did I bully you? Leng Qianye's face was full of innocence, and tears seemed to be flowing in his eyes. Okay, I was wrong. I won't let anyone capture Leng Ruoxue, Leng Xing admitted defeat. Leng Qianye was obviously on Leng Ruoxue's side. He really couldn't understand how Leng Ruoxue caught Leng Qianye's eye after only coming to the clan for a few days. He really didn't dare to touch Leng Ruoxue with this fellow backing her up. Alas! He was depressed. He miscalculated. Chapter 790, Grand Elder, I don't have money, too, Leng Xing, can't you grow a brain? Didn't I say that we're not from the Leng family? You still use this excuse to deal with me. You're really stupid, Leng Qianye said with a face full of disappointment. Ah! Leng Xing was a little conflicted. Was Leng Qianye really Leng Ruoxue's backer? Why did it sound like he wanted him to find a better excuse? Thinking of this, Leng Xing decided to probe carefully. Then he said, Leng Ruoxue, it's a little inappropriate to punish you according to the clan rules since you haven't acknowledged your ancestors yet, but you can't deny the fact that you injured the 10th elder, right? I admit it. I beat that old thing up. Leng Ruoxue didn't deny it. You injured a manager elder of the Leng family. Tell me what to do. Leng Xing said democratically. In fact, it was mainly because Leng Qianye was eyeing him covetously from the side. He couldn't understand that fellow's thoughts, so he had to say this. What else can we do? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. You injured an elder of the Leng family. Are we going to let it go like this? Leng Xing was a little angry. Do you want me to pay for the medical fees? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. Shouldn't it be? Leng Xing was stunned and asked foolishly. Of course not. I don't have money, but I do have one life. However, that old man isn't dead yet. He shouldn't need my life. Leng Ruoxue said with a matter-of-factly smile. Of course I don't need your life. However, our 10th elder can't be beaten for nothing, so you still have to compensate for the money. How about this? I'll be a peacemaker, and you'll compensate a little for my sake. The 10th elder won't pursue this matter anymore, and everyone will be happy. Well, it's settled. Leng Qianye casually settled this matter without giving Leng Xing a chance to speak. He didn't even ask Leng Ruoxue and the 10th elder for their opinions. Grand Elder, I don't have money, Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Don't tell me you're so poor that you don't even have one amethyst coin. Well, it's okay if you don't have it. I'll pay for it, Leng Qianye said very generously. One amethyst coin. Not only was Leng Ruoxue stunned, but everyone from the Leng family in the hall was stunned. After they reacted, they couldn't help but grumble in their hearts. So the mighty 10th elder was only worth one amethyst coin. Wasn't this equivalent to being beaten for nothing? Alas! They were really too unlucky. I can afford one amethyst coin. Leng Ruoxue suppressed her smile and pretended to be in pain. Oh! I'll save it then. Leng Qianye smiled. Leng Xing was so angry that his face and neck were red. He was about to object when he was interrupted. Leng Xing, why are you so rude to call me old ancestor? Leng Qianye corrected. Yes, old ancestor. Leng Xing gritted his teeth. Leng Qianye's seniority was definitely higher than his. As for how high it was, he didn't know. However, even his grandfather had to pretend to be a grandson when he saw him. Therefore, it would be fine if Leng Qianye didn't fuss about his address. If he did, he would have to be a great-grandson. Boo-hoo. What was more infuriating was that Leng Qianye would often be so angry that others would forget his seniority. And he was the unlucky person who was often affected. Leng Xing, little Shuer, the matter with the 10th elder is settled. Moreover, this matter ends here. No one is allowed to mention it in the future. Otherwise, don't blame me for being unreasonable, Leng Qianye said domineeringly. Yes. Leng Xing was so angry in his heart, but he didn't dare to show it on his face because he knew that Leng Qianye would definitely do as he said. He naturally didn't dare to pluck the fur off the tiger's butt, so he could only swallow his anger for the time being. Humph. He didn't believe that Leng Qianye could protect that girl for life. He believed that he would one day find a chance to teach that girl a lesson. At this moment, if he still couldn't tell that Leng Qianye was on Leng Ruoxue's side, then his hundreds of years of life would have been in vain. This is an amethyst coin. Please pass it to the 10th elder. Leng Ruoxue thought for a while and then reluctantly took out an amethyst coin from the bracelet and handed it to Leng Yimin. Leng Yimin braced himself and accepted the hot amethyst coin under the gaze of the Grand Elder. Moreover, he didn't have to guess to know that the 10th elder would definitely not be in a good mood when he saw this amethyst coin. Alas! He really had nothing to say except to express sympathy for the 10th elder. Just like that, the dispute between the 10th elder and Leng Ruoxue was easily resolved by the supreme elder. The Leng family members present were already well aware that the 10th elder's plan to suffer this meal was for nothing. However, this was a matter decided by the supreme elder. No one dared to say anything even if they were unconvinced in their hearts. Ha, isn't today the welcome banquet for little Shuer? Everyone, don't just stand there. Let's eat. I'm hungry. With that, Leng Qianye sat down and began eating alone, ignoring everyone else. Big sister, let's eat first. Leng Ruoxue also picked up her chopsticks and said to Leng Shuang. Okay. Leng Shuang smiled happily, her mood especially good. The Leng family had no choice but to pick up their chopsticks and start eating when they saw the patriarch and the others sitting down and eating. However, no one dared to speak during the meal, so the entire banquet hall was relatively depressed. After finally finishing this welcome banquet, everyone immediately scattered like birds and beasts and returned to their residences under the order of the mistress of the household to disperse. Boo-hoo. They dared to guarantee that this meal was absolutely the most difficult they had ever had. This was obviously a Hongmen banquet arranged for them. Leng Rume was so angry that she smashed everything in the room into pieces after returning to her residence. After the welcome banquet, Leng Qianye blocked the way of Leng Ruoxue and the others and said shamelessly, "Little Shuer, you haven't thanked me properly yet." "Why should I thank you?" Leng Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. "I helped you settle the matter with the 10th elder." Leng Qianye said. "But I didn't ask for your help. Moreover, you caused me to lose an amethyst coin." Leng Ruoxue tried to settle the score after the fact. Chapter 791, Supreme Elder, I don't have money. 3. Little Shuer, you can't even bear to part with one amethyst coin? Leng Qianye was a little speechless. This girl's knock on the door was on par with his grandfather. Yes, one amethyst coin is also money. Moreover, it depends on who it is given to, Leng Ruoxue said honestly. One amethyst coin to beat up the 10th elder is very cost-effective. Leng Qianye reminded. Alas! He had to pay one amethyst coin for beating up an elder. It was really worth it no matter how he thought about it. What you say makes sense. Why don't I pay him another 100 amethyst coins? Leng Ruoxue blinked and looked at Leng Qianye expectantly. Ah! Could it be that you want to beat him up 100 times? Leng Qianye said excitedly. Hee, this girl was like him. He would be a bastard not to take advantage of her. Moreover, he felt that little Shuer's suggestion was pretty good. I have too many subordinates. Last time, they complained to me that the 10th elder fainted because he didn't satisfy his craving. Therefore, if there's a chance, of course I hope to satisfy their request. Leng Ruoxue said very seriously. Little Shuer, don't think about it now. The 10th elder's injuries haven't healed yet. I heard that he still can't get up from bed after taking many pills. Leng Qianye's handsome face was full of regret. Oh. Then let's wait for him to recover. Leng Ruoxue was very kind. The poor 10th elder didn't expect to be locked on by a certain little demon again. Little Shuer, there will be a competition in the clan in a few days. Don't forget to watch the commotion then. Leng Qianye reminded her and left happily after speaking. Shuer, what does he mean? The freak asked in puzzlement after Leng Qianye left. Well. He didn't ask them to participate in the competition but to watch the commotion. This person's idea was quite strange. He wants us to watch the competition. Freak, let's go back. Leng Ruoxue said and then brought everyone back to Snowfall Garden. A week passed quickly. During this week, no one from the Leng family disturbed them except for Leng Wudi who reported every day. This couldn't help making Leng Ruoxue and the others a little uncomfortable. Therefore, Fengde and the others strolled around the Leng family's main residence in boredom. In the garden of the Snowfall Garden. Leng Ruoxue, the freak, empty, the little old man, Leng Ruhan, and Leng Qingtian were sitting in a pavilion in the garden, drinking tea and chatting. Shuer, ask Leng Wudi how long we have to stay here when he comes later, Leng Qingtian said. Grandpa, you've stayed long enough. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Yes, Shuer. Don't you want to go to the Dark Night Seas? Let's go there. Leng Qingtian suggested. During the few days he stayed in the Leng family didn't cause trouble for them, but the way they looked at them made him very uncomfortable, so he really didn't want to stay here for a moment. Grandpa, calm down. There's still some trouble here that needs to be resolved. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Leng Rume might not have appeared these few days, but she didn't think Leng Rume had learned her lesson. Humph. Who knew what bad ideas they were up to again? Shuer, let's solve those problems if we can. If not, let's leave directly. Leng Qingtian said. What he said couldn't be referring to if they didn't provoke them anymore. After all, if they attacked first, it would probably cause the Leng family to be collectively displeased. Well. Becoming the public enemy of a super family was too troublesome. Okay. I'll ask Leng Wudi when he comes later, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Ask me what? Leng Wudi's voice sounded just as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking. Leng Ruoxue looked up and saw Leng Wudi walking into the pavilion. Moreover, he didn't come alone. Well, it seemed like the people from the other two families had already arrived. You are Leng Ruoxue? Sun Ting's face was full of amazement as he said in disbelief. Don't you already know? Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Leng Ruoxue, have I offended you before? Sun Ting asked directly in puzzlement. It was fine if Leng Ruoxue and the others were not enthusiastic about him, but why did they seem to be a little hostile to him? He really couldn't understand. No, but some people in your Sun family like to snatch civilian women, so we are destined not to be friends. Leng Ruoxue said very directly because she didn't want to waste her time. Ah. Don't tell me you were also robbed, Sun Ting said speechlessly. He had also heard a little about how some people from the Sun family liked to do such things. However, he had not seen it with his own eyes after all, so he couldn't say anything. However, with Leng Ruoxue's current appearance, if anyone from the Sun family was foolish enough to provoke her, they could only blame their bad luck. After all, she was not so easy to snatch. Yes, but the lackey who came to snatch me is no longer in this world. The mastermind is still here, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. What do you mean? Sun Teng had a bad feeling. Was this a warning? Literally. Leng Ruoxue said innocently. Ah. Sun Teng understood. Leng Ruoxue was indeed reminding him, but this was an unforgettable fact as a member of the Sun family. Leng Ruoxue lowered her head in silence seeing that Sun Teng understood. Shuer, don't you have a question for me? Leng Wudi changed the topic seeing the awkward atmosphere. Yes, Leng Wudi. Where is the person who wants to see us? Don't tell me that person is the Supreme Elder, Leng Ruoxue asked bluntly. Of course not, but I'm not sure when he will see you, Leng Wudi said helplessly. Boo-hoo. He was only responsible for bringing people here. How could he decide when that old ancestor wanted to see him? Oh. Leng Ruoxue stopped talking and pondered. Shuer, I have something else to tell you. Leng Wudi was in a dilemma. What is it? Leng Ruoxue frowned. Did someone from the Leng family come up with another bad idea after resting for a few days? The Elder Association has decided to let the three of you represent the Leng family in the competition, Leng Wudi said softly. I'm sorry. I'm not from the Leng family. Your competition has nothing to do with me. Leng Ruoxue refused without thinking. What a joke. They were all mystic sovereigns. They were not interested in a child's competition of that level. They might consider it if it was a competition between mystic supremacies. Chapter 792, Grand Elder, I don't have money, for, Leng Ruoxue, are you afraid? I've always wanted to compete with you. Sun Ting tried to provoke Leng Ruoxue seeing that she refused. Unfortunately, he found the wrong person. Just take it that I'm afraid. I can be an audience, but forget about the competition. Leng Ruo said nonchalantly. Ah. Sun Teng was a little dumbfounded. She didn't even care about his provocation, so he was at his wit's end. Shuer, Leng Wudi refused to give up. He wanted to continue persuading her, but Leng Ruoxue didn't give him a chance. I don't know who came up with this idea, but tell the old men in the Elder Association not to have any ideas about me. I'm not that easy to plot against, Leng Ruoxue interrupted Leng Wudi and said bluntly. Alas. All right then. Leng Wudi was a little helpless. In fact, he had expected this result, but he still had to pretend. Miss Fengde and the others have been arrested. Suddenly, Lu Tao ran into the pavilion in a panic. She hurriedly shouted breathlessly when she saw her young miss. What happened? Leng Wudi asked hurriedly. Who arrested them? Leng Ruoxue was also a little curious. Fengde and the others were arrested. Could it be that someone attacked? A guard of the Leng family. Lu Tao looked at Leng Wudi and explained. What reason? Leng Ruoxue continued asking. He injured an esteemed guest, Lu Tao said angrily. They were also esteemed guests of the Leng family. Why were they treated differently? They were really too much of a bully. VIP? Who is it? Leng Ruoxue couldn't think of any VIP from the Leng family. It's the Sun family and the Lan family. Miss, they looked down on us and humiliated us. Fengde and the others were angry, so they taught them a lesson. However, the guards of the Leng family said that Fengde and the others caused trouble and locked our people in a cell, Lu Tao complained, her eyes red with anger. It's okay. Just treat it as being bitten by a dog. It seems like we don't match up with the people from the three major families. Leng Ruoxue looked at the three young masters in front of her and said with a spurious smile. Ah. Shuer, don't worry. I'll go see what's going on. Leng Wudi slipped away after speaking. Boo-hoo. Shuer's gaze was so terrifying that he couldn't bear it. Oh. I'll go back and take a look too. This should be a misunderstanding. Lan Lai, who was already a little embarrassed, hurriedly escaped. I'll go take a look too. Sun Ting found an excuse to leave when he saw that the two fellows actually ran away, not wanting to bear Leng Ruoxue's anger alone. Shuer, shall we take a look? Empty asked curiously. There's no need to go. The Leng family will look for us later. However, if Fengde and the others lose a strand of hair, no one from the Lan and Sun families will be able to leave unscathed today. A cold light flashed in Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes, and killing intent rose quietly. As Leng Ruoxue expected, the elders of the Leng family came knocking an hour later. In the living room of the Snowfall Garden. Leng Ruoxue and the others sat in their chairs with relaxed expressions. They couldn't help laughing secretly as they looked at the two old men who were restless not far away. May I know why third elder and fifth elder are here? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be stupid and didn't mention that her subordinates were locked up. Miss Leng, some of your subordinates were locked up in prison because of causing trouble. Third elder's heart was trembling. He finally finished explaining the cause, and most of his clothes were already wet. Boo-hoo. He couldn't understand why he was so nervous. In fact, he really didn't want to come this time. However, he had drawn the lots. Oh, are only my subordinates locked up, or are all the troublemakers locked up? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and asked with a faint smile. Of course the troublemakers are locked up. Miss Leng, don't doubt the fairness of our Leng family. Third elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said anxiously. Well, he still had to protect the honor of the Leng family. Well. The Leng family is really fair, Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile, not exposing him. Humph. Did he really think she didn't know that the Lan and Sun families were locked up later? Miss Leng, actually, this matter isn't big, but the effects are really too bad, so we hope that the three of you can resolve it peacefully. Third elder cleared his throat and said helplessly. How do we settle it peacefully? Leng Ruoxue asked with a smile. We suggest that you settle this dispute on the battlefield. You might not have really returned to the Leng family, but in terms of bloodline, you are a member of the Leng family after all, so we naturally don't want you to suffer a loss, Third elder said very sincerely. In fact, he really thought so in his heart. The Lan and Sun families agree? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. Yes, they don't want the matter to blow up either, so they are also satisfied if it can be resolved on the battlefield, Third elder said. In that case, let's settle it on the field. However, I have to say the ugly things first. Blades have no eyes. I won't be responsible if anything happens to the elites of those two races, Leng Ruoxue said a little bloodthirsty. Ah. It's a competition. There will inevitably be injuries. Everyone will understand. Third elder didn't care too much about Leng Ruoxue's words. After all, Leng Ruoxue and the others were only great mystics in his eyes. On the contrary, he was more worried about their safety. Some people in the clan would definitely be happy if some of them were injured, and this was probably the goal of them using any means to want Leng Ruoxue and the others to participate in the competition. That's good. Leng Ruoxue nodded with satisfaction. Miss Leng, since you have to participate in the competition, our clan will give you 20 spots. At that time, perform well. Third Elder continued. Okay, Third Elder, is there an age limit for the competition? Leng Ruoxue asked after some thought. Anyone below the age of 40 can participate, Third Elder explained. 40 years old? You can participate in such competitions at such an old age? Leng Ruoxue was in disbelief. Miss Leng, mystics below the age of 40 are children in our eyes. Anyone who can break through to Mystic Monarch before the age of 40 can be considered a genius. Similarly, such elites will also be specially nurtured by the clan, the fifth elder, who hadn't said a word, explained. Chapter 793, Grand Elder, I don't have money, 5, oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Miss Leng, the competition will begin 3 days later. We will let her back later, the fifth elder promised. Then the two of them stood up and left. Schwer, looks like someone is being unreasonable again. Empty said with a light smile after third elder and fifth elder left. Okay, it'll make them regret it, Leng Ruoxue said with a bloodthirsty smile. A moment later. Feng De and the others walked into the living room with a smile. Mississippi. Feng De and the others quickly greeted her. Yes, Leng Ruoxue answered lightly. Miss, you don't care about us. Why didn't you ask if we were wronged? Lin Yuan couldn't help complaining seeing how indifferent his young miss was. If you can't even take care of yourselves, you don't have to follow me anymore. Leng Ruoxue looked at Lin Yuan with slight disdain. Miss. Lin Yuan looked at Leng Ruoxue resentfully with a long face. Alright, stinky brats, stop pretending. How can those people be your match? Leng Qingtian couldn't take it anymore. These people were led astray by their granddaughter, and they especially liked to pretend to be pigs to eat tigers. That's right. If you don't get arrested willingly, I don't believe those guards can lock you up, the little old man echoed. It's okay to be locked up, but I won't let you go if you can't take care of yourself, Leng Ruoxue warned. Miss, don't worry. How can we dare to wrong ourselves? Feng De and the others hurriedly promised. Miss, we also felt that something was amiss, so we wanted to play along, Lin Yuan said ingratiatingly. Yes, you were released because I promised to participate in the competition in 3 days. We have 20 spots. You can discuss who will be fighting. Anyone below 40 can participate, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Miss, what if we accidentally injure someone? Feng De couldn't help asking. Third elder said that blades have no eyes. It's inevitable that there will be injuries, Leng Ruoxue said very calmly. Have a good rest for the next 3 days. Don't leave the snowfall garden if there's nothing else. Leng Ruoxue pulled the freak out of the living room after speaking. At this moment, third elder and fifth elder, who had already left the snowfall garden, came directly to the grand elder's residence. Supreme Elder, Miss Leng has already agreed to participate in the competition 3 days later, third elder said very respectfully. Yes, congratulations on completing the mission. Leng Qianye smiled and then took a sip of tea. Supreme Elder, I'm afraid that this matter will be inappropriate, so if you're willing to step forward to stop it, I think Ling Xing and the others will definitely give in, third elder said worriedly. Alas. He really didn't want Leng Ruoxue and the others to suffer any injuries. Otherwise, this seemingly amiable man in front of him might wash the Leng family with blood. Why should I stop him? Give me a reason. Leng Qianye smiled evilly. Leng Ruoxue and the others are the descendants of your line. You can't watch them jump into the fire pit. This competition, third elder stopped talking halfway because he believed that the supreme elder would understand what he meant. However, he didn't really understand what the supreme elder meant. He couldn't understand why the Supreme Elder didn't stop his descendants from jumping into the pit even though he knew that the competition this time was not simple. It's true that Leng Ruoxiu's grandfather, and granddaughter are my descendants, but I can't play favorites if her subordinates cause trouble. That will make the other clansmen displeased, Leng Qianye said helplessly. Ah. Third Elder was speechless and couldn't help but grumble in his heart. You obviously want to watch the commotion, but you still say it so pompously. Didn't you think that with your status, no one would dare to be displeased as long as you said it? However, he could also see that the Grand Elder was most likely very confident in Leng Ruoxiu and the others. Otherwise, he would have probably appeared long ago. Thinking of this, he very tactfully pulled the fifth elder away and said goodbye. After exiting Leng Qianye's yard, the fifth elder looked at the third elder in puzzlement and asked, "Are we leaving just like that? Many people will be unlucky if anything happens to Leng Ruoxiu and the others. Someone will probably be in trouble even if nothing happens to Leng Ruoxiu and the others. Alas. Let's not get involved. Let's just watch the commotion," third elder said helplessly. It seemed like the Leng family was about to change. That's the only way. The fifth elder was also very helpless, but there was nothing he could do. 3 days later. The competition held every 10 years by the Leng family, the Lan family, and the Sun family officially began. The competition was arranged to be held in the largest martial arts arena in the Leng family's mansion. At this moment, the stage had been set up, and the main stage and the seats that could accommodate hundreds of spectators had been set up. However, because it was an internal competition, almost all the people who were lucky enough to watch the competition were members of the Leng family, as well as a small portion of the Lan and Sun families. The atmosphere in the arena became more and more enthusiastic as the guests and audience entered the stage one after another. The lively atmosphere deliberately created by the Leng family also infected everyone present. Soon, everyone from the Leng family, the Lan family, and the Sun family arrived, but Leng Ruoxiu and the others were nowhere to be seen. Leng Ruoxiu is too much. How dare she be late for such an important competition? Leng Rumei accused loudly in front of everyone, and her words naturally entered the ears of the people sitting on the stage. I really didn't expect Leng Ruoxiu to be from your Leng family, an old man said coldly on the stage. Second elder knows my junior. Leng Yimin, who was sitting in the middle, looked at the second elder of the Lan family and asked curiously. Well, why was Leng Ruoxiu related to the second elder of the Lan family? For some reason, he felt a little uneasy. Yes, I will know her even if she turns to ashes, the second elder of the Lan family said through gritted teeth. Boo-hoo. How could he forget? That was the first time he had massaged the soles of a bird's feet in his life. Thinking of this, he couldn't help turning his gaze to Leng Xing and asking with his eyes, could the person you want to deal with be Leng Ruoxiu? Chapter 794, Grand Elder, I don't have money. 6. Leng Xing, who was not far away, nodded imperceptibly when he received the second elder's gaze. The second elder was immediately overjoyed when he saw this. This was really good news for him. However, why didn't Leng Xing tell him earlier that the person he wanted to deal with was Leng Ruoxiu? It also made him happy. He complained a little in his heart, but their expressions immediately returned to normal. Ah! Leng Yimin's unease deepened after hearing what the second elder of the Lan family said. Therefore, he ignored the glances exchanged between the second elder and Leng Xing. Seems like Leng Ruoxiu should be considered the new elite of your Leng family. She's so famous that even the second elder of the Lan family knows about her. Well, I have to get to know her well later, the sixth elder of the Sun family said with a light smile and a teasing tone. He was also the leading elder of the Sun family this time. Sixth elder, Leng Ruoxiu is just a child. She's not worth mentioning, Leng Yimin said helplessly. Boo-hoo. Why were these people so interested in Leng Ruoxiu? I'm afraid you're not an ordinary child if you're appreciated by the second elder of the Lan family. Patriarch Leng, don't be humble. You should be proud that the Leng family has such a junior, the sixth elder of the Sun family said with envy. Proud my ass. Leng Ruoxue didn't admit that she was from the Leng family at all. Leng Yimin couldn't help but grumble in his heart. Boo-hoo. If possible, he really didn't want Leng Ruoxue to participate in the competition. However, things were no longer under his control. Alas. He hoped that nothing bad would happen. He prayed sincerely. At the same time, Leng Ruoxue and the others were walking into the arena. Leng Ruoxue and the others walked into the competition venue unhurriedly and swaggeringly. Then, they were led to the side of the stage by the guards. At this moment, the preparation area on the side of the stage was already full of people. However, after seeing them, everyone present revealed expressions of being unfriendly, mocking, or watching the commotion. Leng Ruoxue, how dare you only come now? Leng Rume glared at Leng Ruoxue as if she was her enemy and questioned her fiercely. What? The competition has already begun. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of question marks. The competition is about to begin, Leng Rume said furiously. She originally wanted to humiliate Leng Ruoxue in public before the competition began, but she didn't expect them to come so late. Damn it, there was not much time left now. It hasn't begun yet. Moreover, we're not the first to go on stage, so there's no hurry. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. You, Leng Rume pointed at Leng Ruoxue, so angry that she couldn't speak. Rume, why lower yourself to the level of a person who has never seen the world? It will lower our taste. We are the daughters of the three great super families. We have to pay attention to our identities. At this moment, a woman in blue walked over and said with a face full of disdain. Fei is right. It's beneath my status to bicker with such a bumpkin, Leng Rume said arrogantly. Isn't this Miss Lan Fei? Why, Lan Ning'er's reputation is ruined. Is it your turn to take the throne now? Leng Ruoxue looked at Lan Fei with a spurious smile and said lightly. Who are you? How do you know me? Lan Fei looked at the drop-dead gorgeous beauty in front of her and gritted her teeth in hatred. Damn it, was it not her turn to stand up without Lan Ning'er? Why did another woman more beautiful than Lan Ning'er appear? Fortunately, this woman was hated by Leng Rume, so she could be considered to have an ally. Thinking of this, she was even more confident. Miss Lan Fei, Leng Ruoxue. We met once in Blue Cloud City, Leng Ruoxue reminded with a light smile. You're that ugly freak? Lan Fei was shocked. How was this possible? She really didn't associate the Leng Ruoxue Leng Rume mentioned with the ugly freak she had seen before. This contrast was really too big. Seems like Miss Lan Fei's memory isn't really bad. By the way, is the patriarch of the Lan family okay? Leng Ruoxue asked with a smile. Okay, Lan Fei said fearfully. Boo-hoo. If she knew that the woman in front of her was the same person as that ugly freak, she definitely wouldn't have dared to say anything just now. She had a deep understanding of Leng Ruoxue's terror when she was in the Lan family, so she really regretted it to death now. Boo-hoo. She didn't want anyone to save her like Lan Ning'er. Suddenly, from the corner of her eye, she saw Leng Wudi and the others walking over, and she ran in Leng Wudi's direction without hesitation. Young Master Leng. Lan Fei ran to Leng Wudi's side, panting, her beautiful face still slightly fearful. Miss Lan, what's wrong? Leng Wudi was a little puzzled. He didn't have a good impression of Lan Fei, but she was a guest. He had to pretend no matter how annoying he was. Alas. Thinking of this, he realized that he really envied the lives of Leng Ruoxue and the others. And nothing. Of course, Lan Fei couldn't say that she was scared by Leng Ruoxue. However, this was another good opportunity to pretend to be weak. She also didn't want to give up. Leng Wudi and the others had already walked toward Leng Ruoxue and the others while she was weighing the pros and cons. She stomped her feet in anger and hurriedly followed after them. Shuer, be careful when you go on stage later. There are many geniuses from the Lan and Sun families, Leng Wudi reminded her. He knew that Leng Ruoxue had many powerful beasts, but he was not sure how strong Leng Ruoxue was now. Therefore, he was more or less a little worried. Beast pets were not allowed in this competition, so he was even more worried for Leng Ruoxue and the others. Okay, we will be careful, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. You have to be careful. You might even die. Leng Rume gloated again. Miss Leng Rume, no one will think you're a mute even if you don't speak. Really, I promise, Leng Ruoxue said seriously. Her words also caused Feng De and the others to laugh. Even Leng Wudi and the others couldn't help but laugh, and there were even more people laughing secretly. Chapter 795, Infernal Affairs, 1, Leng Ruoxue, you really deserve to die. However, don't worry, I won't attack you in private. Hopefully, we have the chance to compete on the field. At that time, I'll definitely let you know my power, Leng Rume said confidently. Okay. I'll wait. By the way, how are your grandfather's injuries? They should be healed. Leng Ruoxue asked anxiously with a face full of concern. Of course it's good. There's no need for you to pretend to be compassionate. Leng Rume gritted her teeth and said fiercely. Miss Rume, you're mistaken. I'm not concerned about your grandfather. I'm thinking that if his injuries have healed, I'll pay him another 100 amethyst dollars and let my subordinates beat him up one by one. You don't know, that old man isn't good at enduring beatings. Last time, my subordinates didn't have enough. Leng Ruoxue said with dissatisfaction. Pfft. Leng Wudi couldn't help but laugh after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. Ha! Shuer was really sharp-tongued. That old man had almost lost his face since he was beaten up, but Shuer actually wanted to beat him up. She was really too evil. However, that evil really looked cute no matter how he looked at it. Damn it, just you wait. Leng Rume was so angry that her eyes burned with raging anger as she glared at Leng Ruoxue and threatened. Haven't I been waiting? Miss Leng Rume, you have to be fast. I might leave at any time, Leng Ruoxue reminded. You're courting death. Don't blame me. Leng Rume left the preparation area angrily after speaking. Shuer, is it okay to anger her like this? She has Ling Xing backing her up now. It will be impossible to guard against her if she does anything underhanded on the field. Leng Wudi said worriedly when he saw Leng Rume leave. Young Master Leng, thank you for your concern, but you should pay more attention to Leng Rume. She will definitely be the unlucky one if you anger me. Moreover, someone will definitely pay a painful price unless I don't attack, Leng Ruoxue half warned and half reminded. I don't have the right to care about her. However, if anything happens to her, my mother will definitely be grateful to you, Leng Wudi said understandingly. Alas. His mother would probably say that he didn't acknowledge this sister for nothing. But there will also be people from the Leng family who want to kill me, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Are you afraid? Leng Wudi asked speechlessly. How do you spell fear? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows and asked calmly. I knew you wouldn't be afraid. Leng Wudi sighed and said helplessly. Alas. Leng Ruoxue had only returned to the Leng family for a few days, but it had already driven many clansmen crazy, especially his father. He wanted to laugh happily every time he saw his father's conflicted expression. Shuer, I think I see a familiar face. The freak looked at the stage and said to Shuer with a light smile. Yes, I saw the second elder of the Lan family too. Leng Ruoxue looked at Lan Lai and said lightly. Lan Lai's heart trembled under Leng Ruoxue's seemingly casual gaze. Oh. Could it be that the second elder was going to be unlucky again? Will the two of you go on stage later? Leng Ruoxue looked at Lan Lai and Sun Teng. I'm not going. Me neither. The two of them said almost in unison. However, I want to fight you in private. Sun Teng stared at the freak with a fervent gaze. Don't have any designs about my man. Leng Ruoxue pretended to be displeased. Ah. Don't misunderstand. I'm not interested in him. I just want to compete with him, Sun Ting said speechlessly. I'm not interested, the freak said coldly without even looking up. Freak, let's go greet the second elder of the Lan family. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly at the freak. Okay. The freak was very cooperative. After speaking, the two of them walked to the stage together. On the main stage, the second elder of the Lan family looked at the stunning man and woman with a spurious smile in front of him and his heart trembled. Boo-hoo. He already knew that these two people were Leng Ruoxue and her fiancé. What are you doing? The second elder of the Lan family looked at Leng Ruoxue and the freak like a little wife, his voice trembling a little. Could he go back on his word now? Could he not participate in Leng Xing's plan? He didn't expect Leng Ruoxue to give him so much pressure herself. Boo-hoo. He was really scared now. Second elder of the Lan family, long time no see. We just came to greet you. Don't be scared. Oh right, big sister Linger misses you too. I wonder when you have time to serve it again. We will pay for it this time. Leng Ruoxue smiled very evilly, so her words actually made the others sitting beside second elder misunderstand. At this moment, everyone, including Leng Yimin, looked at the second elder of the Lan family with very suggestive gazes, thinking, oh. This old man is already so old and doesn't look good, but there are actually women who like him and are even willing to spend money for him in an unforgettable manner. It's really enviable, jealous, and hateful. I don't have time. I'm very busy, the second elder of the Lan family wanted to cry but had no tears. He could also feel the gazes of others, but he could say that the big sister Linger Leng Ruoxue was talking about was a bird. Could he say that she just wanted him to give her a foot massage? Boo-hoo. Wouldn't that be even more embarrassing for him? Most importantly, probably no one would believe her. It's okay. We can wait. Alas. Big sister Linger said that you're skilled and can't forget you. I can't do anything either. Leng Ruoxue continued to add oil to the fire. Good technique. Leng Yimin and the others immediately understood when they heard that. So this old man Zhao was skillful. Well. No wonder. At this moment, someone secretly decided that they would ask the second elder of the Lan family for a few moves if they had the chance. The second elder of the Lan family really didn't know what to say after Leng Ruoxue's promotion. Boo-hoo. At this moment, he was very regretful. He regretted coming to the Leng family, and even more so regretted getting involved in Leng Xing's plan. If this little demon knew that he had a part in it, he would probably not let him go. However, it was too late to say anything now. Alas. The excitement he had when he knew that Leng Xing wanted to deal with Leng Ruoxue had long disappeared without a trace after seeing Leng Ruoxue herself. All that was left now was fear. Chapter 796, Infernal Affairs, 2, You what? Leng Ruoxue asked the advisor. I don't have time in the future, so let it find someone else, the Lan family's second elder said with a long face. You're so busy. It's okay. I'll find the Lan family head personally when I have time and ask him to give you a break. A talent with special skills like you can't be exhausted, Leng Ruoxue said without thinking. Patriarch doesn't have time either. Patriarch is in seclusion, second elder Lan said hurriedly. In seclusion? It's okay. I'll look for the Lan family's first elder. Don't tell me he's in seclusion too. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes stared at the Lan family's second elder doubtfully. He didn't enter seclusion, but he's not in the Lan family now. He went out to train. I don't know when he will return, the second elder of the Lan family said after some thought. Boo-hoo. He wanted to say that the first elder of the Lan family was in seclusion, but he knew that this little demon would definitely not believe him. Oh. Who's in charge of the Lan family now? Leng Ruoxue asked with some amusement. Elder group, The important affairs of the Lan family are now decided by the elder group for the time being. Second elder quickly said, He really admired himself to death. He didn't believe that this little demon could look for the elders of the Lan family one by one. The elders? Seems like there's nothing wrong with the Lan family. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Coincidentally, Leng Wudi and the others walked over again. What do you mean? Lan Lai's face was full of question marks. It's okay, the second elder of the Lan family interrupted. Cold sweat rolled down his forehead. Young Master Lan, I heard that the current Lan family is decided by the elders. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of curiosity. How is that possible? That old man is alive and well. Lan Lai said irritably. But I heard from second elder Lan that, Leng Ruoxue deliberately only said half a sentence. Then she raised her beautiful eyes and looked at the second elder of the Lan family. Miss Leng, I'll look for you when I have time, the second elder of the Lan family promised. Okay, tonight then. I'll get big sister Linger to wait for you in the snowfall garden. Leng Ruoxue smiled suggestively and left the stage with the freak after speaking. Second elder Lan, congratulations. Leng Yimin and the others congratulated the second elder of the Lan family politely as soon as Leng Ruoxue left. Some of them were even scheming in their hearts, not knowing when they would be able to attend the second elder's wedding. After all, it was only a matter of time before the girl couldn't forget him. Thank you. The second elder of the Lan family had a long face. He braced himself and accepted the congratulations of everyone present, but he was so depressed that he wanted to bang his head against the wall. Boo-hoo. Ah. Is there any good news, second elder? The question marks on Lan Lai's face increased. He. Young Master Lan, your second elder is about to bloom, and it's the blooming of an old tree. Your Lan family will have a happy occasion soon, an elder from the Leng family interrupted. Oh, congratulations, second elder. Lan Lai congratulated him according to customs even though he was a little lost. In fact, he knew very well that it was impossible for the second elder to have a happy occasion when it involved Leng Ruoxue. Alas! It was good enough not to hold a funeral. Young master. The second elder of the Lan family looked at Lan Lai resentfully, wanting to cry but had no tears. There's no need to explain. I understand, Lan Lai said sympathetically. However, he couldn't help the second elder. Alas! Second elder, your life can still be saved as long as you do as Leng Ruoxue says obediently. He signaled the second elder with his eyes. The second elder of the Lan family nodded understandingly. Boo-hoo. He couldn't be blamed for being useless. The impression Leng Ruoxue gave him was really too deep. However, it had been so long, and he thought that he had forgotten. However, he only knew that not only did he not forget after seeing Leng Ruoxue, but his fear for Leng Ruoxue and the others had already seeped into his bones. What should he do? He was so conflicted. The second elder of the Lan family had been struggling on the stage, and the competition began on time. After the competition began, the participants went on stage one by one in the order they had drawn beforehand. Leng Ruoxue and the others sat by the stage without interest, eating and chatting. Miss, the level of this competition is too low. It's really too boring. Lu Tao ate her snacks and glanced at the two sides fighting furiously on the stage, saying disdainfully, Her horizons were becoming wider and wider as she advanced to Mystic Empress. She couldn't care less about such a level of competition, but she had to participate again. She was really too helpless. Don't look if you don't like it. They compete with them. Well, eat ours, Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. However, their casualness displeased many of the participants. Referee, everyone is competing, but they are eating and drinking here. How can we compete? A disciple of the Sun family accused, very displeased. That's right, this is too much. This is simply desecrating the competition. Referee, on behalf of all the participants, I strongly request that they be disqualified from the competition. After someone stood up, someone began to echo. Leng Rume looked at Leng Ruoxue proudly and pleaded impartially, "Referee, eating in the competition venue is indeed inappropriate. However, on the account that they are first offenders, give them another chance." "All right. On the account that Miss Rume pleaded for you, I'll warn you once. You're not allowed to eat anymore," the referee said loudly. To be honest, he really didn't want to care about this matter. However, it had already aroused public anger, so he couldn't pretend not to see it. Boo-hoo. He was in a very difficult position. Unfortunately, Leng Ruoxue and the others didn't seem to hear the referee and continued doing what they were doing. "Don't say that the grapes are sour just because you can't eat them. You can also eat them if you want to see us eat them," Fengde said nonchalantly. He even took out firewood from his ring to grill the meat. The referee was so angry that he couldn't say anything when he saw this situation. He simply walked to the other side of the field. Anyway, he was not the only referee in the competition. He should leave this matter to others to have a headache. Fengde and the others grilled the meat as if no one was around when they saw the referee leave. Everyone present could only stare angrily. Chapter 797, Infernal Affairs, 3. Your behavior is really too much. How can you treat such an important competition as child's play? Leng Rume accused them with some disappointment. "Miss Leng Rume, we're not familiar with you," Leng Ruoxue said with some amusement. She really didn't know why Leng Rume pretended to be the head of the family. "You really don't know what's good for you," Leng Rume said angrily and then turned to leave angrily. "Miss, is Leng Rume mentally abnormal?" Lu Tao asked in puzzlement. "What do you mean?" Leng Ruoxue was curious. "Sometimes she treats us as her enemies, and sometimes she seems to treat us as the Leng family. She always wants to control us so that she can show her identity as the eldest daughter of the Leng family," Lu Tao said after some thought. "Okay, just treat her as mentally abnormal. Don't worry about her," Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. "Yes, Mississippi. It's my turn." Lu Tao walked directly to the stage. Leng Ruoxue and the others turned their gazes to the stage after seeing Lu Tao go on stage. Lu Tao's opponent was from the Sun family, and it was a mystic monarch. "Beauty, I will let you go if you are willing to admit defeat. Moreover, I promise I will love you well and make you want to die." On the stage, a greasy-haired and pink-faced young man was looking at Lu Tao wretchedly, his lecherous eyes still patrolling the important parts of Lu Tao's body. "Whose master are you? I'll castrate you if you spout nonsense," Lu Tao said furiously. "Damn it, how dare you tease me." At this moment, the man opposite her was already a dead man in her eyes. "Lu Tao, castrate him!" Fengde roared furiously from below the stage. "Damn, how dare he tease his woman. This brat from the Sun family really didn't want to live anymore." Lu Tao and Fengde's words made many of the people present break out in cold sweat because these words were really too valiant. A great mystic actually said that he wanted to castrate a mystic monarch. Wasn't this a joke? However, no one dared to treat the subsequent scene as a joke. That was because Lu Tao, who was on the stage, unceremoniously released a ray of light blue mystic energy at the man opposite her after receiving Fengde's encouragement, and her target was the most important part of the man's body. Immediately, there was a scream of pain, and the man on the stage covered the main part of the stage with his hand and fell onto the stage with a cry of pain. Lu Tao's set of actions was really too fast, and many people had already achieved the truth before they could react. "Referee, is the competition still continuing?" Lu Tao looked disdainfully at the man lying on the stage and asked the referee, whose face was a little pale. "No. There's no need to compete," the referee stammered. "Boo-hoo. What was there to compete? This woman was really too ruthless. She actually really castrated him when she said castrate. This person was from the Sun family. What should he do? I should have won, right? Lu Tao asked uncertainly. Yes, you won. The referee was a little conflicted, but he didn't dare to offend this terrifying woman in front of him. He wouldn't be able to cry if she killed him in a fit of anger. It was really too terrifying. He had lingering fears. Soon, someone from the Sun family, who had become a eunuch, was carried down. The sixth elder of the Sun family, who saw this scene on the stage, almost fainted. On the main stage. Patriarch Leng, your Leng family is too ruthless. Shouldn't you give our Sun family an explanation? The sixth elder of the Sun family questioned angrily with a black face. Leng Yimin was very depressed. In fact, he really wanted to say that they asked for it, but he really couldn't say it because of the relationship between the two parties. Sixth elder, calm down. In fact, this isn't a big deal. It's just that it broke. It can still be connected if you take the pill in time, so you don't have to be angry over such a small matter. Ah. Injuries are unavoidable on the competition stage. The third elder of the Leng family laughed as a mediator and comforted. Yes. Sixth elder, this isn't a big deal. Moreover, there's a reason for it. The young lady won't be angry if your Sun family's disciple didn't spout nonsense. Moreover, that thing can be reattached. It won't affect your daily life. The fifth elder of the Leng family, who was wearing the same pants as third elder, hurriedly echoed. You, the sixth elder was a little speechless. Humph. Repeat. It was easy to say. Even if it was reattached, it would not be original, and some functions would not be there, and it would be no different from a cripple. Thinking of this, he was so angry. However, even though he was angry, he also knew whose territory this was, so he did not dare to be too presumptuous. Sixth elder, your Sun family is going against Leng Ruoxu's subordinates again, the second elder of the Lan family couldn't help reminding. Boo-hoo. Demon. That woman's subordinates were also a group of demons. They were really too terrifying. Oh. The sixth elder of the Sun family hurriedly turned his gaze to the stage when he heard that, and his nervous heart was about to jump out. Boo-hoo. Don't let something like this happen again, because Leng Ruoxu's side had another woman on the stage. On the stage. Cui Zhu looked at her opponent with some disgust, her clear eyes still full of contempt. She said impatiently, let's begin quickly. Don't delay my barbecue. You stinky girl, don't worry. I will definitely teach you a lesson, another unlucky person from the Sun family said arrogantly. Humph. He wanted to avenge his brother. Okay, then hurry up. Cui Zhu urged anxiously. Boo-hoo. Her grilled meat. It would be eaten up by those big stomachs later. Stinky girl, take this. The unlucky person from the Sun family took the lead to attack. Cui Zhu on the stage calmly released a water curtain in front of him and then launched a huge meteor shower. In an instant, countless light blue rain swords attacked his opponent. Ah! With a scream, the unlucky person from the Sun family also covered an important part of his body and fell onto the stage. Seeing this scene, almost everyone's hearts jumped crazily on the field except for Leng Ruoxue and the others. Bean-sized sweat dripped down the foreheads of many male compatriots. Chapter 798, Infernal Affairs, 4, 5 minutes passed, and the Sun family who had collapsed on the stage didn't react. The referee walked forward stiffly and took a look. Well. Fortunately, he was still breathing. Cui Zhu wins, the referee announced loudly after confirming. Ah! Miss, I won. Cui Zhu ran off the stage like a little bird happily and then picked up the surviving grilled meat to eat in big mouthfuls. Yes, well done, Leng Ruoxue praised. Cui Zhu seemed to have grown a lot. Miss, we still have 3 rounds of competition today. Then we can go back and rest. Feng De looked at the schedule and said. Okay, let's end this quickly. The second elder of the Lan family still wants to come tonight. Leng Ruoxue reminded with a light smile. Ah. Fengde and the others stole a glance at the frowning second elder of the Lan family on the main stage, their hearts full of infinite sympathy for him. Alas! Poor fellow was targeted by their young miss again. As time passed, the competition continued in full swing. Leng Ruoxu's side quickly finished all the competitions today and won in seconds. Leng Ruoxue and the others left the arena directly and returned to the Snowfall Garden after today's competition ended. Leng Shuang, whom he had not seen for a few days, came knocking on his door not long after he returned to the Snowfall Garden. "Sister, I heard that your people will show off their might today." Leng Shuang sat opposite Leng Ruoxue in the garden and said happily. "Fortunately, it's mainly because those people are too weak," Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. "Too weak?" Leng Shuang was a little speechless. She thought, "Your opponents look stronger than you." "Big sister, haven't you been busy these few days? Why are you free to come today?" Leng Ruoxue changed the topic. "Sister, I heard that your two maidservants castrated the Sun family. I was worried, so I hurriedly came to remind you," Leng Shuang said helplessly. "Big sister, don't worry. I know what to do," Leng Ruoxue said gratefully. "That's good. The Sun family is despicable, so you have to be careful. However, I believe that the Sun family won't dare to do anything to you as long as you don't leave Proud Cold City," Leng Shuang said after some thought. "Okay, I'll be careful," Leng Ruoxue said. "Sister, I've said what I wanted to say. I'll go back first. I'll visit you after I'm done for the next few days." Leng Shuang stood up and left. Leng Ruoxue returned to the garden after sending Leng Shuang out of the Snowfall Garden. After dinner, everyone sat in the garden and admired the beautiful moonlight while waiting for the second elder of the Lan family. However, the old man still didn't come late at night. "Miss, could that old man be scared? It's already so late and he's not here yet." "He probably won't come," Zheng En complained. "Damn it, how dare he stand his young miss up? He wouldn't let that old man go." "Calm down, he will come. He won't dare not to come." Leng Ruoxue was very sure. Sure enough, not long after Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, the second elder of the Lan family came to the Snowfall Garden sneakily. After seeing Leng Ruoxue and the others, the second elder was so nervous that his entire body was trembling. "Leng Ruoxue, I'm here. What do you want?" The second elder of the Lan family mustered his courage and asked softly with a trembling voice. The expression on his face was as if he was about to be. "Second elder, don't be scared. We're old acquaintances. I won't bully you." Leng Ruoxue comforted with a light smile. Well. She really didn't understand why this second elder was so afraid of her. The second elder of the Lan family looked at Leng Ruoxue with a long face, his heart racing. "You bullied me a lot. Boo-hoo." He had already thought about not participating in Leng Xing's plan because he really didn't think Leng Xing would win. Alas! This was a decision he had thought for several hours. The two disciples who had been castrated from the Sun family also helped him confirm his stand. After all, he didn't want the disciples of the Lan family to become useless too. Therefore, he would not cooperate with whoever wanted to cooperate. "Leng Ruoxue, I'll tell you Leng Xing's plan. Can you let me go?" The second elder of the Lan family pleaded with a bitter face. Second elder is very sensible. "However, you can tell me first. I won't pursue your mistake if it's valuable." Leng Ruoxue smiled like a little fox. "All right." The second elder of the Lan family had no choice but to tell Leng Xing's plan in detail to Leng Ruoxue. After speaking, he even looked at Leng Ruoxue carefully, his gaze was like a puppy wagging its tail pitifully, very pitiful. "That's all?" Leng Ruoxue asked with dissatisfaction because this plan was really too childish. Alas! How could Leng Xing think of such a lousy plan after living for so long? It was really too disappointing. "Yes, the sixth elder of the Sun family and I were both present at that time. However, I don't know if he sought out the sixth elder in private, the second elder of the Lan family said honestly. In fact, to be honest, Lin Xing's plan might be very effective against others. Unfortunately, the person he wanted to deal with was Lin Ruoxue. Boo-hoo. He didn't dare to imagine the consequences of the people who participated in this plan, so it was not too late to hope that he would surrender. Oh. Second elder, I'm very disappointed in your plan. Tell me, what should we do? Leng Ruoxue said with seeming distress. Miss Leng, please don't count me in. I'll apologize to you for what happened previously. I won't participate in the rest, okay, the second elder of the Lan family pleaded. Boo-hoo. He really regretted coming to the Leng family. If he had known that this little demon was in the Leng family and gave him so much pressure, he wouldn't have come even if he said he would die. However, he also hated Lin Xing for not telling him clearly back then because Lin Xing only said that he wanted to deal with a junior in the family who didn't know the rules and contradicted him. Therefore, he should be considered a victim of the deception, right? No, you have to continue participating, Lin Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. Why? I really don't want to participate anymore. Boo-hoo. Miss Leng, let me go. I know I was wrong, the second elder of the Lan family wailed uselessly. Who will be my undercover if you don't participate? You have to inform me in time if Lin Xing's plan changes. Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. Chapter 799, Infernal Affairs, 5, Miss Leng, I'm afraid Lin Xing doesn't believe me anymore, the second elder of the Lan family said aggrievedly. Lin Xing's gaze at him had become abnormal since Leng Ruoxue said those misunderstood words in front of the stage. He will believe you more if you tell him what happened between us, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. No. I can't tell you. It's really too embarrassing. The second elder of the Lan family's face flushed red. Boo-hoo. How could he survive in the three great super families in the future if news of this spread? Then think of a way yourself. Anyway, you have to continue colluding with them. Leng Ruoxue reminded, her words full of threat. Then, all right then. The second elder of the Lan family was very helpless. Boo-hoo. He was on a pirate ship. Moreover, they were from two families, so he couldn't get off even if he wanted to. Second elder Lan, it's getting late. Rest early. Leng Ruoxue ordered him to leave after the discussion, and she dragged the freak back to her room. The next day. The competition continued. The second elder of the Lan family only came to the main stage after the competition began. However, he felt countless suggestive gazes sweeping over him before he sat down. I'm sorry. I woke up late today, the second elder of the Lan family explained gloomily. It's okay. We understand. Oh. Second elder is really strong despite his age. I'm envious. Second elder, it must have been tough yesterday. Second elder, we cultivators should still focus on cultivation. Everything else is fleeting. The second elder of the Lan family was even more depressed as he listened to everyone's words. He didn't expect his explanation to actually attract countless guesses, among them were understanding, jealous, envious, reminded, comforted. Damn, what was going on? He really wanted to knock into tofu. However, everyone present was of equal status to him, so he couldn't vent his anger on them even if he was angry. Second elder, beauty is a hindrance. You have to be careful not to fall for my honey trap, Lin Xing, who had been silent, reminded eccentrically, his eyes full of warning. Senior Leng, you're mistaken. I'll explain it to you when I have time. The second elder of the Lan family smiled bitterly and approached Lin Xing and said softly. Okay. Lin Xing nodded. Then he stopped talking and turned his gaze to the stage. He didn't know how Leng Ruoxue and the others would perform in today's competition. However, this was only the beginning, so don't worry. The show was still coming. On the second day of the competition, Leng Ruoxue and the others all went on stage. However, the result of the competition was still the same as the previous day, all of them were instantly killed. On the third day. The fourth day. It was still the same. On the fifth day of the competition, only 50 people were left on the field. Leng Ruoxue and the others occupied 20 spots among these 50 people, and the other 30 spots were divided equally among the other 3 families. The 3 families each sent out 50 disciples for this competition. After the 4-day preliminaries, the Lan family and the Sun family were almost wiped out except for the Leng family. The disciples who stayed on the field were not very strong, and this situation did not prevent the Sun family's 6th elder and Leng Xing from burning with anger. As for the 2nd elder of the Lan family, he was well aware of the result. After all, he had long known the result. At this moment, he couldn't help but be a little glad that he had surrendered long ago. Otherwise, the disciples of the Lan family would probably be like the Sun family. It was a tragic sight. Even though there were many injuries on the bodies of the Lan family disciples, which looked quite terrifying, he knew that those were only superficial wounds, while the people from the Sun family were genuine injuries. At this moment, Leng Xing knew very well that it was probably impossible to fight alone. Therefore, once the 3 families studied it, they changed the rules of the competition, changing from one-on-one battles to a group chaotic battle. Therefore, the 5th day of the competition was a chaotic battle. Leng Ruoxue smiled happily after hearing this news because the competition was about to end in her eyes. The 5th day of the competition finally began with Leng Ruoxue and the others' anticipation. In the competition venue, Leng Ruoxue and the others deliberately sat quietly and thoughtfully by the side of the stage after hearing the new rules announced by the referee. What a pity. I didn't expect the rules of the competition to change. Leng Rume walked to Leng Ruoxue and the others with a face full of pity and gloated. Unfortunately, Leng Ruoxue and the others ignored her. Leng Rume left angrily after finding trouble with herself. Miss, I really don't understand why she's so happy. Lu Tao looked at Leng Rume leaving in puzzlement. Ha! She thinks she can finally deal with us. Leng Ruoxue said in realization. Well. Hopefully, today's competition could all end. She didn't want to participate in such a childish competition for another day. Oh. No wonder, Lu Tao said in realization, but she felt pity for Leng Rume and the others. Everyone, be alert when you go on stage later, Leng Ruoxue reminded. The stage today was several times larger than before, specially prepared for the chaotic battle. There would be more situations if the stage was larger, and there were more people competing, accidents might happen at any time, so there would probably be many things today. After a while, Leng Ruoxue and the others had already stood on the stage. The competition officially began with the referee's whistle. According to the rules of today's competition, 20 people should be eliminated. However, with Leng Ruoxue and the others' disgust for the competition, it was naturally impossible to let this boring competition continue. Therefore, they wanted to take advantage of today to get rid of all the disciples of the 3 major families who were participating in the competition at once. Leng Ruoxue and the others stood on the stage. No one attacked first, only observing each other. Not only that, the 2 sides were divided into 2 camps. Leng Ruoxue and the others stood together, and the other 30 people stood on the other side of the stage. Referee, does one lose the right to continue competing if they are off the stage? Leng Ruoxue suddenly asked. Chapter 800, First Encounter with the Old Ancestor, 1, Yes. The referee nodded. For some reason, he actually felt his body turn cold when Leng Ruoxue asked him this. There was even a bad premonition flowing through his heart. Boo-hoo. What was going on? Leng Ruoxue and the others had really surprised them too much in the competition these few days, so he was under a lot of pressure. That's good. Leng Ruoxue was relieved. Hey, why didn't anyone attack? I'm going to attack if you don't attack first. Feng De looked at the disciples of the 3 great families who were looking at them cautiously and shouted impatiently. Ha! Feng De, they're waiting for time. I think we should attack first. Leng Ruoxue said with some amusement. The competition had a total of 2 hours. Don't tell me these people thought that they could kick us out of the competition by attacking at the last moment. Miss, looks like that's the only way. Fengde and the others were very helpless. After speaking, they surrounded the 30 people on the other side of the stage. Leng Rume looked at Fengde and the others with contempt, thinking, do you think you will be so lucky today? You are dead meat today. However, her wishful thinking did not last long before Fengde and the others attacked. They each found an opponent and first punched and kicked very violently. Then, their mystic energy kept smashing onto their opponents like it was free. In a few minutes, their opponents, who were unable to fight back, were covered in wounds and vomited blood on the stage. The injuries of the Sun family were especially serious among them, and Fengde and the others kicked them off the stage without any pity for the fairer sex. They had dealt with 18 people on their first move. There were only 2 people left from the elimination quota for today's competition, and they were not beaten to the other 12 people. Everyone, including Leng Rume, was a little jumpy and stared at Fengde and the others very cautiously. Fengde, there are still 2 spots. Leng Ruoxue looked at her opponents who were not too tough and said disdainfully. Leng Ruoxue, don't be too smug. You will definitely be taught a lesson, Leng Rume roared recklessly. Humph. She had a secret weapon. She didn't believe that she couldn't deal with Leng Ruoxue. Fengde, let's continue since Miss Leng Rume strongly requests it. Leng Ruoxue looked at Leng Rume and said calmly to Fengde, okay. Fengde and the others rushed toward the other 11 people after speaking, leaving Leng Rume to her young miss to deal with. The other 11 people were beaten down by Fengde and the others with a few punches. However, they did not kick these dozen people off the stage because they were waiting for Miss Action. Leng Rume, you're the only one standing on the stage now except for my subordinates. Haven't you always wanted to kill me? I'll give you a chance today, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Leng Ruoxue, don't be too smug too early. There are only 2 spots to be eliminated today, so it won't be my turn no matter what, Leng Rume said confidently. In fact, she was so angry in her heart because she originally wanted to kill Leng Ruoxue secretly while the crowd was in a chaotic battle. Unfortunately, all her plans were destroyed by Leng Ruoxue, and she was the only one standing on her side now, so she was so angry that she was about to explode. Is that so? Then let's wait and see. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Then she gently released a stream of water attribute mystic energy as if she was playing with it, shooting it at Leng Rume. Leng Rume looked at the mystic energy flying toward her with contempt and thought to herself, humph. Do you want to deal with me with that little bit of mystic energy? You really overestimate your capabilities. She gently used the earthen yellow curtain wall to block the mystic energy. Miss Leng Rume is so powerful. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly and said ingratiatingly. Then, like Cui Zhu, she launched a meteor shower. Immediately, small light blue raindrops flew toward Leng Rume and quickly penetrated her curtain wall and attacked her body. In the blink of an eye, her clothes were wet by the rain, and her hot and sexy figure was revealed. Damn it, what skill is this? Leng Rume endured the needle-like pain on her body and questioned loudly. Meteor rain. Miss Leng Rume's figure is really good. Everyone can have a feast for the eyes. Leng Ruoxue smiled suggestively. Who wants to see her? The freak's voice sounded at the right time. That's right. Fengde and the others echoed cooperatively. Damn it. You. Leng Ruoxue, I won't let you go. Leng Rume endured the pain in her body and took out a saber from her ring. The cold light on the saber was terrifying. The audience couldn't help exclaiming when this saber was out. Wow, this saber is actually a sacred artifact. Yes. This saber seems to belong to an old ancestor of the Leng family. Why is it in Miss Leng Rume's hand now? Leng Ruoxue is going to be in trouble this time. Everyone in the audience discussed spiritedly. Some sighed, some were envious, and some were sympathetic to Leng Ruoxue. In short, everyone's reactions were different. Of course, some secretly despised Leng Rume in their hearts. After all, sacred artifacts were not as common as cabbages in this world, and powerhouses below mystic supremacy had to pay a huge price to possess a sacred artifact. In the VIP seats, Leng Yimin looked at the saber in Rumai's hand and was shocked. Then he looked at Leng Xing and couldn't help asking, "Old Ancestor, that saber, I lent it to Rume," Leng Xing said calmly. "Old Ancestor, this is only a competition within the clan. I'm afraid it's inappropriate for you to lend the holy artifact to Miss Rume." The third elder of the Leng family couldn't help but scold. Alas! This Leng Xing was really too much. Wasn't it obvious that he wanted to get rid of Leng Ruoxue? Thinking of this, a chill rose in his heart. Not only is it inappropriate, but it's also completely unfair, the fifth elder of the Leng family said bluntly. Among the younger generation of the Leng family, even the young master had not been bestowed with a sacred artifact. Moreover, not only did the young master not have one, but these elders also did not have a sacred artifact in their hands. This was because the family's sacred artifact was stored in the armory. They were not allowed to use it unless something major happened. They were afraid that the Leng family would kill each other. However, they did not expect Leng Xing to actually use a sacred artifact to kill a junior for his own selfish reasons. Such behavior was really too embarrassing. Chapter 801, First Encounter with the Old Ancestor, 2, There's no absolute fairness in competition. Rume borrowed my weapon because she's smart. If Leng Ruoxue is smart enough, she can also borrow it from the family. Leng Xing said disapprovingly, and his tone obviously gloating. However, when he saw the book-like sword that appeared in Leng Ruoxue's hand on the stage and emitted coldness, he couldn't be smug anymore because that sword should also be a sacred artifact. Moreover, its level was obviously higher than the saber he lent Rume. After all, sacred artifacts were also divided into levels. On the stage, Leng Ruoxue looked at the sword in her hand and revealed a smile that could topple cities. She had refined this sword ever since she came to the boundless heaven continent. However, it had always been stored in her body and had yet to be used. Moreover, she used the special refining technique taught to her by her master to refine this sword. It could be considered her intrinsic weapon. Moreover, it would advance along with her level. Well, she didn't know what level this sword could reach now. She was very expectant. Today, she would use Leng Rume to test the sword, even though she felt that she had let down her sword a little. The sword seemed to have a mind of its own. After sensing its master's thoughts, it happily let out a buzzing sound. The humming sound carried a bloodthirsty ruthlessness, causing people with low cultivation levels to suffer varying degrees of internal injuries. Ha! I'll call you Cold Shadow from now on. Leng Ruoxue looked at the sword's reaction in surprise and said happily. Boo-hoo. The sword trembled gently as if it was very happy that it had a name. Leng Rume. Let's determine if your saber is stronger or my sword is sharper. Leng Ruoxue said calmly to Leng Rume, whose face was a little pale. Leng Ruoxue, you will definitely regret it. Leng Rume swallowed the blood that surged to her throat and said fiercely, "Humph." She definitely wouldn't lose, and she couldn't lose. In this battle, she had to step on Leng Ruoxue under her feet. She was just a great mystic cultivator, what right did she have to strut around in front of her? Yes, I'm waiting to see how I'll regret it. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of anticipation. It was absolutely infuriating. Leng Ruoxue, you're courting death. Leng Rume roared and slashed at Leng Ruoxue with her saber. Leng Ruoxue turned her wrist unhurriedly, and the sword light in her hand flew towards Leng Rume from all directions. Leng Rumai's sword light was completely shattered in the sword shadows, and countless sword lights directly hit her body. Leng Rume spat out a mouthful of blood and fell directly on the stage, fainting. Leng Ruoxue looked at Leng Rume lying on the stage with slight dissatisfaction and complained, her body is too weak. I haven't even used my mystic technique yet. Leng Ruoxu's words made everyone in the audience very speechless. However, they had to admit that these two people were indeed on a different level. Alas! A mighty mystic monarch was actually defeated by a great mystic. It was really embarrassing. The referee in the corner of the stage was very helpless. However, he also knew that today's competition would probably not be able to clean up the aftermath. He received the patriarch's gaze and was about to announce that today's competition was over. However, Feng De and the others kicked the fainted disciples of the three great families off the stage one step in advance. This scene couldn't help making the referee a little dumbfounded. However, what made him even more crazy was still behind, because Feng De and the others immediately announced their forfeiture of the competition after that and automatically jumped off the stage. The referee was stunned for a few minutes before he returned to his senses. Looking at the stunning man and woman standing proudly on the stage, he had to admit that they were really a pair of lookers. Even their Leng family's current young master had no choice but to admit defeat in front of these two's peerless elegance. Alas! It was really infuriating to compare oneself to others. They obviously only had the strength of a great mystic, but why were these people so awesome? He couldn't understand no matter how hard he thought. There are only the two of you in the entire competition now, so tomorrow, the referee braced himself and said his decision. However, he was interrupted by the freak before he could finish. I forfeit too, the freak said with a naughty smile. The referee was in a mess after hearing what the freak said. Looks like the competition can end. That's good, Leng Ruoxue said happily. Then, she pulled the freak off the stage as if no one was around. After that, Leng Ruoxue and the others left the competition venue majestically with Feng De and the others escorting them. Everyone sat happily in the garden, drinking tea and chatting after returning to the snowfall garden. Shuer, why don't you just kill Leng Rume? That woman really wants to kill you, Leng Ruhan said worriedly. Leng Rume was still alive and would probably find a way to cause trouble for them. Big brother, for some people, living is more painful than death. Leng Rume might not be dead, but she won't be able to achieve anything great, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Her sword beams had long shattered the veins in Leng Rumai's body. Therefore, from now on, she was no different from a cripple. She might even be worse than a cripple. From today onwards, we have to be wary of Leng Xing, not Leng Rume, Leng Ruoxue reminded again. Alas! Leng Xing's plan had failed, who knew what tricks he would come up with again. Well, she was in a good mood recently, so she would play with him. Miss, don't worry. We will be alert, Feng De and the others promised. Okay, everyone should rest early after dinner today. Leng Ruoxue looked at everyone and said. Everyone nodded and then went to prepare dinner. After dinner, Leng Ruoxue and the freak welcomed an uninvited guest just as they returned to their room. Ah! To be precise, it was an uninvited stranger. Leng Ruoxue raised her beautiful eyes slightly and sized up the handsome man who suddenly appeared in her room. This man looked to be in his early 30s, and his entire body was suffused with a chill. Even though his appearance was very handsome, the ice on his body could make people feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. Moreover, this man's strength was unfathomable. The man was sizing her up while she did the same. Well, this little girl was not bad. It was really rare for someone so young to be so calm and collected in front of a stranger. He had already observed Leng Ruoxue for many days even though it was their first time meeting. Therefore, her calm reaction was within his expectations. Chapter 802, First Encounter with the Old Ancestor, 3. For a while, they just looked at each other. Neither of them spoke first. After a long time, the man surrendered. Boo-hoo. That was because he gloomily discovered that this little girl's mental quality was above his. Why wasn't this little child curious about him at all? He couldn't understand. The man beside her was the same. The two of them acted as if he didn't exist. After looking at him for a while, they calmly drank their tea. They didn't even invite him for a drink. It was really too rude, he complained in his heart. Little child, why aren't you curious or even ask who I am? The man couldn't help asking. His handsome face was still full of bitterness, forming a sharp contrast with the coldness on his body. What's there to ask? You'll tell me if you want to, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. In fact, she had already guessed this man's identity. Well, this should be the person who wanted to see her. Moreover, this man's strength was absolutely above that grand elder. I'm Leng Xiaoyu. The Leng family of the Ling Feng continent is the bloodline I left behind. The man sighed and said helplessly. Alas. Qian Yi was right. This girl was indeed difficult to deal with. Oh. So you're the rumored improper member of the Leng family. Leng Ruoxue said in realization. Little child, I'm your old ancestor, Leng Xiaoyu couldn't help but remind her. Boo-hoo. How could this girl not give him face? So what? I have only inherited a bit of your bloodline. Apart from that, what did you do for us? The Leng family of the Ling Feng continent has long declined. If it weren't for my grandfather, I'm afraid the Leng family would have no place in the Ling Feng continent. And after we returned to the family, what did these so-called Leng family members do to us? Someone wanted to kill us, to make my grandfather and me servants. They even colluded with the other two great families to kill us in the competition. If we didn't work hard, you, so-called old ancestor, would probably be seeing our corpses now. Leng Ruoxue's voice was filled with coldness, her beautiful eyes full of accusation. Little Shuer, others might not know your true strength, but I know very well that those people can't do anything to you at all. Moreover, do whatever you want to do. I'm not stopping you, Leng Xiaoyu said with slight grievance, even pretending to be pitiful. Ah. You said it yourself. Leng Ruoxue confirmed. Well. This old ancestor was quite sensible, hee. Maybe she could give him a chance to perform. Yes, yes. However, don't kill too many. Otherwise, won't the other two super families benefit? Leng Xiaoyu reminded. No, it'll exterminate the Sun family at most. Leng Ruoxue understood what her old ancestor meant. If the Leng family lost too many people at once, the three super families would probably be in an imbalance. And if this change happened, the Leng family, which was originally the strongest, would probably be ranked last. Exterminate the Sun family? Little Shuer, what arrogance. I don't even dare to say that I can definitely destroy the Sun family. Leng Xiaoyu rolled his eyes and said speechlessly. Well. Truly, youth knows no fear. Which one of those who could become a super family didn't have deep foundations and inheritances that were more than 10,000 years old? How could they be destroyed just like that? You've tried? Leng Ruoxue asked in surprise. No, but we fought a few times. At that time, the Sun family was still at its strongest. I fought a member of the Sun family to a draw, Leng Xiaoyu explained. How do you know that I can't destroy them if you haven't tried? Humph. Even if I can't destroy it now, it'll make the Sun family disappear in the entire universe no matter which world I'm in the future. Leng Ruoxue said with an imposing manner because she knew that the Sun family wouldn't let her go even if she didn't cause trouble for the Sun family. Moreover, the Sun family seemed to have a lecherous old ancestor, so she had to make preparations early. Good. Ambitious. The old ancestor supports you. Leng Xiaoyu said with satisfaction. Hee. This was his descendant. As a member of the Leng family, he had to be unyielding. Moreover, his love for Leng Ruoxue had risen to a new level in such a short time. After all, anyone would be wild with joy to have such a junior. Moreover, Leng Ruoxue indeed had limitless potential, which was one of the reasons why he valued Leng Ruoxue more. Cheap sake old ancestor, don't just say it. My next step is to get rid of the Leng family's stumbling block. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly and reminded. Well. She didn't want the Leng family to hold her back when she was dealing with the Sun family. At least they were a little related, so she naturally couldn't uproot the Leng family like she did with the Sun family. Yes, yes. Do whatever you want. I'm here. Leng Xiaoyu promised. That's good. Cheap sake old ancestor, it's getting late and we want to rest. Don't you think you can go now? Leng Ruoxue said very implicitly. After obtaining the permission of this cheap sake old ancestor, she started to chase him away. Little child, you can't be so realistic. You want to chase me away after achieving your goal. That won't do. My goal isn't over yet. Moreover, you're not allowed to call me cheap sake old ancestor. Leng Xiaoyu glared and pretended to be displeased. Then what else do you want? Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Well. As expected of their Ling Feng continent's old ancestor, he was indeed very similar to her. One would not visit unless they had something to ask. I want to see your sword, Leng Xiaoyu said shamelessly. In fact, this was the main reason why he came late at night. If it weren't for the sword that the little child took out today that tempted him, he would probably still be cowardly and not dare to show himself. Oh. Leng Ruoxue willed the cold shadow to appear in her hand. Can I hold it? Leng Xiaoyu asked expectantly. He knew that his request was a little inappropriate. After all, a weapon that had already recognized its master shouldn't be borrowed. However, he was really too curious because this sword had given him too much shock. He couldn't say why. In short, the moment he saw this sword, the artificer factor in his body boiled. Sure. Leng Ruoxue handed over the sword in her hand. Leng Xiaoyu looked at the sword in his hand and praised it. After looking at it carefully, he returned it to Leng Ruoxue with a face full of reluctance. Then he couldn't help asking, who refined this sword? Chapter 803, First Encounter with the Old Ancestor, 4, It's me. Leng Ruoxue didn't hide it. You. I didn't expect you to be a famous artifact master. Very good. Let's discuss the insights of refining artifacts if we have the chance. Leng Xiaoyu said in surprise. Hee hee. This descendant really surprised him more and more. Ah. I rarely refine weapons and don't have much experience, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. She refined more pills and with the disheveled old man around she rarely refined weapons. Little Shuer, don't be modest. Your sword has clearly reached the quality of a heavenly artifact. Even though it can only be considered an elementary heavenly artifact, it seems like there's still quite a lot of room for growth. Moreover, do you know the greatest wish of an artificer? Leng Xiaoyu said with some jealousy. He was really jealous. This little child said that he rarely refined artifacts, but a growth-type equipment was honed from her hands. How could artificers endure this? Wish? Could it be to refine heavenly artifacts? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. Oh, she was an artificer who didn't take advantage of her position, so she wasn't too sure what wishes an artificer had. The greatest wish of an artificer is to be able to refine a growth-type equipment. However, the method to refine that kind of equipment has been lost. However, not everyone can refine it even if it isn't lost, Leng Xiaoyu explained. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded understandingly. Little Shuer, rest early. I'll go back first. With that, Leng Xiaoyu disappeared into thin air. After Leng Xiaoyu left, Leng Ruoxue brought the demon into the bracelet to rest. 2 days later. Leng Ruoxue and the others were basking in the sun and drinking tea as usual. For the past 2 days, the Leng family had been very quiet. No ignorant people came to disturb them. The injured members of the Lan and Sun families had already left. This calm before the storm was broken by the cold frost that came to the garden to look for Leng Ruoxue. Sister, the patriarch and elders want to see the three of you, Leng Shuang said bluntly when she saw Leng Ruoxue. Oh. Leng Ruoxue answered lightly. Then, she looked at her grandfather and brother. The grandfather and granddaughter stood up together and prepared to head to the main residence. Sister, you have to be careful, Leng Shuang reminded worriedly. Then, she left the snowfall garden with Leng Ruoxue and the others. After the four of them arrived at the meeting hall in the main mansion, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked directly into the meeting hall. In the meeting hall, Leng Yimin sat in the main seat, and Leng Xing sat beside him. That seat usually belonged to the Grand Elder, but the Grand Elder was not in the meeting hall at the moment, and the other elders were sitting below Leng Yimin and Leng Xing. After Leng Ruoxue and the others entered the meeting hall, they saw the gazes of the patriarch and the elders focused on them. There were many emotions including helplessness, sympathy, pity, and especially the 10th elder, who was actually looking at her provocatively. Leng Ruoxue sized up the expressions of the elders with interest, then fixed her gaze on the 10th elder and said with a faint smile, "Looks like the 10th elder's injuries are almost healed. Well, transact a few more times. Deal?" "What deal?" The 10th elder looked at Leng Ruoxue warily. "I want to beat you up a few more times. How about 1 amethyst coin each time?" Leng Ruoxue discussed. "Ha! Sister, I think 1 amethyst coin is a little expensive. The 10th elder isn't worth that much." Leng Shuang laughed impolitely and then said mockingly. "Oh. Big sister is right. Why don't we beat him up twice with amethyst coins?" Leng Ruoxue thought for a while and said with difficulty. "Sister, 2 times is too little. I think we can beat him up 10 times, Leng Shuang suggested very seriously. "Alright, I'll beat him up 10 times. Leng Ruoxue was very cooperative. The two of them echoed each other, almost infuriating the 10th elder. You guys are too much. How dare you humiliate me like this," the 10th elder roared furiously, his voice full of energy. "Oh. I'm relieved to see the 10th elder so spirited. Otherwise, I'll feel guilty if I accidentally beat you to death." Leng Ruoxue said very kindly. The 10th elder was so angry that he couldn't say anything. After a while, he knelt down in front of Leng Xing and pleaded, "Old Ancestor, Leng Ruoxue and Leng Shuang humiliated the management elder like this. You have to uphold justice for me. Sigh, 10th elder, you're already such a big person. Why are you still complaining to your own family's old ancestor? This isn't something an adult should do." Leng Qingtian said speechlessly. "Well, Shuer only made a few jokes. Was there a need to? How embarrassing." He despised 10th elder's behavior greatly. Old ancestor. The 10th elder looked at his old ancestor aggrievedly with tears in his eyes. "Leng Shuang. How can you humiliate a manager elder like this as the mistress of the Leng family? Is your performance worthy of being the mistress of the Leng family?" Leng Xing questioned angrily. "Ancestor Leng Xing, even if I'm not worthy, it won't be Leng Wangqia's turn. Therefore, you should save it." Leng Shuang said nonchalantly, not taking Leng Xing's threat seriously at all. Leng Xing pointed at Leng Shuang, so angry that he couldn't say anything. Rebellious, really rebellious. These people actually learned to do things right with him. He was really angry. "Leng Yimin, is this the good wife you married? How dare you contradict your elders?" Leng Xing glared at Leng Yimin and roared angrily after a long time. However, Leng Yimin turned his head to the other side as if he didn't hear him and looked down at his fingers. "Leng Xing, you're really promising. Your descendant complained to the elders while you complained to the juniors. Well, I really don't know if the people who gave birth to you will regret it." Leng Ruoxue teased with a light smile. "How dare you call your elders by their names? You really have no upbringing." Leng Xing roared with a black face. "Elder, whose elder are you? Don't try to get close to me," Leng Ruoxue said without giving him any face. "Leng Ruoxue. You are a member of my Leng family, but you actually don't acknowledge the elders of the Leng family. Could this be the Leng family's rule in the Ling Feng continent?" Leng Xing glared and questioned coldly, "You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.